What is good, everybody? We're back live on a Wednesday. You guys seem to thoroughly enjoy the conversation that we had last week. Me and Ash don't get to both of us just shoot shit. We don't get it. We had in the past at least had a chance to really do that, and we did it for the first time on my channel last week. And I mean, the turnout was insane. You guys were awesome. Love the feedback. So figured, hey man, I got time the same time. Let's do it again. As I said, let's do it. And of course, I appreciate him joining me again today. Asma, how you doing, bro?
Still as racist as ever, dude.
Oh man, I wouldn't expect anything less, man.
Yeah, still as white supreme as I can get.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
I'm going in for some skin bleaching surgery tomorrow to get even whiter.
Get even whiter.
Yeah,
man.
even white. I want to be translussant by the end of the year. You know,
most definitely. You need to be able to see right through you, man. Like I respect that. I respect that a lot, man. But nah, man, seriously, I appreciate you kind of joining us here, man, and chatting with us. And we love to do this. So, I want to set the scene. There's obviously a story that kind of broke like this morning that we'll for sure get into later. But so since we last talked, I know you did put out the video, right, where you talked about what was going on with this fucking Director X and
doing pretty well. So yeah.
All right, so we had that. We got Loki also. I think that that dropped between time as well.
Yeah,
and I think that's it. I think that's it. Someone said do-rag ripper. Yeah, I need to change that. I'm not do-rag ripper right now. I was do-rag ripper yesterday. So let me just change that. I'm just regular me this go around. So let me switch that up real quick. And there we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we got that happened. So what the fuck is what is the latest with this whole Director X? He's clearly fishing. Robin, for those of you that don't know the background, this was Robin Hood. This recent Robin Hood deal that came out. He's the director. Did he do anything else pertaining to? Did he actually write any of it, or?
I don't know. He's the showrunner.
Okay,
so he's the creative idea behind the project. You know, somebody said, "Why don't you change the I to a Y?" And he was just like, "I'm all in, baby." That is some creative shit right there. I'm all in. I got a whole idea. To coin a phrase that you might say probably gets me into trouble, but he just went full on the blackity black.
Black. Yeah, pro black.
That's
all that good shit.
Heroes, black, good. Villains, white, bad.
So, the typical.
It's groundbreaking stuff. Yeah,
modern day. So, has there been any update between that? Because I'm pretty sure he's created some videos or some shit since then. Probably going out after people that are in our circle.
Yeah, I'll give him credit for one thing. The guy certainly knows how to at least attempt to use social media to generate something. Whether or not it does is a completely different kettle of fish. But at least he tries to do that. So he's been taking clips of Ryan, Geeks and Gamers, stuff like that, putting it on Instagram, and then just pointing and going, because that says something, I guess. And I did the video last week after our first conversation where I went through all of my dealings with Director X and why I took a conversation off the table, because there is no conversation to be had when you're in discussion with somebody to have a chat in private about your show. And then they just come out and call everybody who's criticizing it racist. So there's no real conversation to be had when that's somebody's opening gambit. At least from a public metric, they're not coming at something from good faith. They're trying to generate a narrative, and so you prove yourself to be untrustworthy. He doesn't care coming on somebody's channel and fucking it up for them. So I took it all off the table with him. So I did the video. It's doing exceptionally well. Thank you so much indeed to everyone who has been watching that. I think it's just gone over 200,000.
It's crazy. That's crazy. So
Which
hell
is
yeah. I'm so glad for you on that one. Goddamn
which ironically is substantially more viewership than episode 2 of Robin Hood got, which only got 139,000 people watching it.
Jesus.
So I got up. I've been actually spending quite a bit of time in recovery in bed today. I've been knackered, and I get up and literally I'm walking around for 5 minutes. Bing, email comes through. Email from City News Toronto television channel. Hey, we've just interviewed Director X about Robin Hood. I bet you have. And we want to create a balanced story.
Sure.
And we're wondering if we could get you onto a Zoom call to edit and take stuff out of context. I mean, to interview you as a response to what Director X has said. So I just responded by just being polite, saying, hi, here is a link to this video that I did about Director X and our conversations. You'll have all the context you need from that. So I sent that. And then about half an hour later or so, yeah. We've seen that video, but would really like to get you onto a Zoom call to take you out of context and edit it down to make you look bad. And I was just like, nah, I'm okay. I think I'm happy to let my video speak for itself. I'm happy to let my content speak for itself. We want to know the purpose of the story, was a direct quote. Purpose of the story was to say the show was shit. Because it's shit. I think it's pretty self-evident. Yeah. So yeah, he's desperately trying now. He obviously couldn't get anywhere with social media. So now he's trying to use local media in Toronto. I think, because I have a friend in Canada and I spoke to them. I said, oh, this news channel wants to get an interview with us on Zoom. And they said, oh, I think that channel gets about 50,000 views. And I thought, I'm not giving them, they're not getting clout off me. That national news network in Toronto, that's not getting clout from some guy in his house in Yorkshire, England, making videos for a living with the budget of electricity and a webcam. How dare they? I don't want to deal with the low life likes of that, for goodness sake.
Nah, man, that whole deal is a trip, man, watching that kind of unfold. But I do love that, if nothing else, is that it kind of proves kind of how a lot of people that have been in our space, in the commentary space, for sure, and how much you have and others, they're really on the radar of these people, right? They could pretend as if everybody kind of on this, let's say in this corner of the internet, this pocket of the internet, they like to think of you as irrelevant, and they will certainly say that, right? As you're not just being followed by a bunch of irrelevant, toxic man babies, all of that good shit. And we've seen a lot actually over the last upcoming years of the acknowledgement, if you will, from these weirdos, of various people in our space, and feeling some kind of way. And I think it goes to show not only the growth that everybody kind of has had, but as I mentioned a little bit last week, the message resonates, right? It's not, we're not just saying just random things just for the sake of saying it, right? Being inflammatory for the sake of doing it. No, these are the views that we actually have. And the thing I think that's changed over the last years is that people have found some sort of a comfort in really viewing other people's perspectives, because you had on the beginning of all of this bullshit, or you had people kind of being gaslit and thinking that okay, they're the crazy ones, right? It's like, I see something wrong. I see something that's happening in media, and these fundamental changes to these characters, and they don't like it. And of course, the media, the shield media, access media, they constantly are telling you like, hey, you're the one that's in the wrong here. You're crazy, and you're just seeing things. And what a lot of us were able to do was just kind of verbalize these positions, and people were like, okay, wait a minute, I'm not crazy. Like there's other people that view it this way as well. So the power is there, and they understand that. They might not acknowledge it, but they for sure understand it. If minimum, they show it in their reactions to kind of various takes that we have.
Yeah, they give themselves away with the verbiage as well, because you mentioned gaslighting. The verbiage that they use is all designed to shut down a conversation. It's all designed to gatekeep, and it's very base level attempts to intimidate and frighten people into being quiet. So words like toxic, which isn't a big word, but when you add on top of that racist, white supreme, bigot, homophobe, misogynist, etc., when you add those words in, they are relying on regular people, normal people, to be shocked by that sort of language and be like, "Oh no, I'm not racist. I'm not a sexist. I'm not a homophobe. I better not continue down this pathway of thought with thinking that, oh yeah, these people are kind of saying stuff which I understand and resonate, but it's been utilized to such a degree now that it's now meaningless."
Right.
So, Director X calling people white incels, I believe he called us. So mature, dude. Calling us racist. It has no weight. It doesn't scare. When I get called this shit every day by people who are frightened by honesty. And toxicity has replaced the word honesty because they are desperate to stop you from talking. They are desperate to prevent you from actually being honest. And they don't like that because they don't operate through good faith and honesty themselves. They don't take these franchises that we love, that we are discussing, and they don't use them with the reverence and respect that they deserve.
Right.
It's like, oh, how can I modern day this? How can I current day this? And it's not even for an audience. It's not because I want to do something exciting and different for an audience. It's because they want to do it for themselves and their peers. They want to say to their peers, hey, look what I did. I took this character, this franchise, this whatever it may be, and I turned it into our ideology. Isn't that wonderful of me? And everyone pats themselves on the back, and then nobody watches it, and then it gets cancelled. And then they go, oh, well, a bunch of racists didn't like it. A bunch of homophobes didn't like it. A bunch of white supremes didn't like it. And nobody in that sphere is even remotely wanting to take any responsibility for what they've actually done. I don't think I've heard a single solitary word come out of Director X's mouth as actual regards to defending the content. Nothing. All I've heard, which is very telling in itself. All I've heard is, look at these racists, look at these, whatever insult he wants to put. Aren't I a victim? Intersectionality reigns. Poor, oh, woe is me. I'm a dude in the middle of nowhere in the countryside in Yorkshire who's turned the second bedroom into an office, and I've shoved a bunch of toys in it. I live a modest life, but I love these things.
Right.
I am the oppressor, Eric. I am the oppressor.
Let them tell it.
The poor director in TV and music videos, the person who's got to work with all kinds of celebrities, who's been given budgets of money to create stuff that's going to go on national television. That guy's the victim, dude.
In some way,
he's just the unfortunate victim in all of this. What a.
Yeah, that's kind of the more socialistic, kind of communistic ideal that these guys have. It's the perpetual state of class struggle, even though it doesn't really make sense when you worded it. I mean, you worded it perfectly, and like, if anything, they'd be the ones that are in the position to be the oppressive class here, because they're the ones with access to all the resources. But they try to paint us as people that are just evil inherently and have so much. Then it's like, again, talking out both sides of the mouth, right? It's like, in one vein, you're like, they're going to claim that you're just nothing, you're irrelevant, and all this. And on the other side, you're this ever so powerful being.
Yes.
And in the event something does go bad, like definitely if it fails, it's our fault. So we have the power while also not having the power at the same time, which is very impressive. I guess it's whatever they feel is convenient to them and whatever position that that they're gonna have at the time is all this bullshit has ever been. I think this is why, a lot of these weirdos are kind of afraid of some of this shit that's happening in the alternative space is going to catch on, because it's how do I word this? It's I don't want to say immune, right? Because they still have dirty tricks up their sleeves for sure.
Like getting mainstream media to reach out to you and try and get you to interview to take out context.
Got dirty tricks. They got dirty tricks, of course, that they'll pull out, but it's not as strong. It's not as impactful, because a lot of what it is that, for example, what we're doing over here at the River is disconnected from them, right?
Yes,
it's largely disconnected from them. Excuse me. We all have like various things that we're doing that is not necessary. It doesn't have to go through them, right? As far as what it is that they like. Distribution is a big thing that we try to address with the Rippaverse. It's just throwing it out there as an example. And the reason being is because I wanted it to be in the event that, well, not in the event, inevitably, when the dirty tricks get pulled out, we need to be in a position to continue to serve our customers, right? Just as a prime example, right? And not have to deal with a lot of nonsense. I think if we had done it the traditional way, they would, that's when they start going after retailers. That's when they start going after the distributor or fulfillment center or whoever it is that you're using, because they understand that, well, I can't reason with that guy, but what I can do is derail their operations and everything it is that they're doing by playing this whatever card. They'll pick it, draw it out the hat, or then some rabbit hat, and they'll mix it up. Oh, we'll go with these racists today. Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll reach out to these guys and say that they're working with someone that's just racist as all get out, with the hopes and anticipation. That's what cancellation is, right? With the hope and anticipation that they completely detach themselves from your project. So that's what it is that we wanted to make sure that we were ahead of, because inevitably speaking, that was always going to be something that could happen. I do think that speaks to also kind of the growth to the independence in kind of the commentary space as well, because everybody's opinion isn't really bought and sold, right? It's not, well, if you access media, yeah, but that's the point. Like, we're not, right? It's more of, I get to view it, I get to see some, I can give my objective perspective there, and the worst you can do is what it is that they do now, try to get their their handlers, let's say, involved, but ultimately they can't really do anything outside of that, right? So they have, there may be a middleman or two, but ultimately it's not like they got to go to your employer, because it's like, what fucking employer? Like, you know what I mean? I'm still gonna have my opinion no matter what it is. So I do think that you're seeing this rise in alternative, just media commentary, all that, and this trust. It's funny you mentioned, like, journalists, and to me, I've said this a million times. If 2020 didn't show you anything, it should have shown you that, to me, as far as respectable occupations, I put drug dealers and prostitutes above journalists. Just being completely honest, especially ones that work for like corporate media, because those guys are fucking criminals. But more importantly, more people are viewing it in a similar light, right? They're viewing it in a similar light. This is why people, where you once had to get that version of the opinion, right, from whoever was the established channel at the time, now they get to go to a YouTuber. Now they get to go to someone on various forms of social media, and they get that perspective from them. These guys don't fucking like that. They fucking hate it. They fucking hate it, and you can see them when the way they spaz out in the event that someone like yourself has an opinion that completely differentiates from what the access media would say about their dog shit, which is really polishing it up. It's dog shit nonetheless, polishing it up and saying that it's the greatest thing, oh, it's brave and bold, yada yada yada. But that's not necessarily your perspective, and other people get to view it. And that's what separates kind of what we're the era, if you will, that we're in right now versus what it was before. It's now you can get multiple angles of really any given position, right? And it doesn't have to go through their lens, or if you will, their little tunnel that they kind of used to control that established narrative, and whatever went through it was something that they individually controlled. Now those days are over. Those days are completely behind us, and it's a fun time. And it's crazy watching these guys realize that this is kind of the way of the future, and there's not much that they can do about it other than just spaz and scream and bitch at, ads for daring to have an opinion that differentiates from them on any given subject. And the thing I really love about it is, yes, they're going to pull the card, racism, yada yada yada. That's inevitable, but it's just not. It's not sticking like it once was. It's
a badge of honor now. It is. It's a badge of honor, because when you call somebody a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a bigot, you're saying, I have no argument, because you said the correct word, and the correct word is control. Mm-hmm. They can't control what I'm saying. They can't control what you're saying, Nerdrotic's saying, Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Kinnell. They can't control that. Now, they might try and hit YouTube and go, come on, guys. They might try and hit Google. Come on, guys. But there are other platforms which are starting to emerge, which other people are utilizing as well, should they wish to. At the moment, I have no necessity to, etc. But controlling the narrative, that is something they're very used to with mainstream media. Hence why a mainstream media show would like to get me on to interview me on a Zoom call that they can edit and take sound bites from and whatnot. Of course. I don't care. I don't care, because they are not talking to my audience. They're not talking to the people I care about. The people I care about are the people that come to the videos and watch the videos. They're the people that I give a shit about. The like to dislike ratio on that video about Director X is 99.4. 99.4. And it's got over 20,000 likes on it. That is an insane ratio.
Yeah.
To likes to dislikes in itself. Never mind after 20,000 people have actually liked it. And it, as of yesterday, it was just in the 3 figures of dislikes.
Yeah.
Because the message is there. People aren't stupid. Mainstream media is there to create a narrative. We're not creating narratives. We are reacting to the narrative that has been created, which is very different indeed. We're coming from a position of authenticity, and they are not coming from a position of authenticity. So when it comes to doing the reviews, for example, of Robin Hood, heaven forbid I'm actually trying to do, or Disprew's trying to do, or whoever that's actually reviewing it, we're actually trying to do something that Director X, the writer, etc., is not doing, and that's entertain the audience. We are trying to take this garbage content, which has been put out, that serves no purpose other than to push an intersectional, woe is me, victimhood. Look, having a black woman shot in the stomach, who then falls down paralyzed next to a fake mural of Sir Jesus George Floyd is like the peak of comedy.
Yeah.
It's something that the Babylon Bee would put together as a sketch. Pete Holmes would probably put together as a sketch. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take this absolute absurdity of intersectionality, or whatever it may be, race baiting, etc., and actually put out a bit of content that our audience is going to like. Right. That's where my loyalty is. That's who I care about. I think Canada's my 3rd biggest demographic in terms of viewership. The USA, UK, Canada. So I got big love from a Canadian audience, but my Canadian audience isn't the normie that tunes into City News Toronto. There's only one reason they want to get you onto City News Toronto, and that's to say, look at this poor black millionaire director that's worked with thousands of famous people, that storyboarded movies and TV shows and music videos. And look how he's being victimized by this disgusting white man in the UK. Oh, feel sorry for, woe is him. That is the narrative that will be pushed. That is the narrative that they want to push. And they're pushing it to most likely an audience that is fully in that regard. I don't care. Good luck, good try. But also when all the stuff was happening with when I did my preferred pronoun rant, I got Fox News that reached out in a sympathetic way because they wanted to push. But again, it's a narrative,
right?
And I'm not there to pander to somebody's narrative. I'm not there to join your side of the culture war because it's fitting for you. So I turn that one down as well, because to me, stuff like that we've been through, but stuff like that actually does matter.
Yeah.
To me, pop culture does matter. Now some have more of a personal effect on me than others, but that's for everybody here. And the same when it comes to folklores or folk heroes, folklore and folk hero. You can appreciate it. You can appreciate the sentiment of it, but judging by that folk hero, whatever it may be, and we'll take Robin Hood as the example because of it. You have your own pathways that it takes you down, whether it be Castle Lego or whether it be buying Mike Grell's Green Arrow, or whether it be the TV shows that do this sort of stuff. So it's a matter of, to me, caring about stuff that I do legitimately give a shit about. It's to me, it's about speaking about something. I don't wake up and say to myself, I'm just going to talk shit about Marvel today for the sake of it. No, Marvel are providing me with the tools to be able to discuss this. I would love nothing more than to talk about, and we'll talk about this soon, no doubt, to talk about an incredible Daredevil show. I'd love nothing more than that, because we've had one, and we had it on Netflix, and it was fantastic. But everything that we'd heard coming out of Born Again, what we'd already seen with the Daredevil character in She-Hulk, what Charlie Cox has said in interviews that kind of got you worried. It's going to be a lot different. Probably not what you used to. Certainly away from the TV show. Some people are going to like it. Some might not be into it. And just like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
You are trying as hard as you can to not say it's fucking dog shit. That's what you're just desperately trying to do. And, fair play to him. God bless him and all that. But, we can read between the lines here. You're basically saying it's fucking shit, folks.
True.
So that we're not creating the content. You are now, because you're doing Axum and you're doing your own books and Alpha Core and Yara and all that. But that is a remedy to a symptom.
Agreed.
Which is the comic book
industry. That was why Riververse was conceptualized.
Yes. So we are not creating this. I don't have any say in Daredevil or Robin Hood or the Marvels or whatever films coming out. I have no say in it, apart from being a paying customer. That's my say. And so as a paying customer, and I will go pay for something, unless it's not in the country, and I'll take DirectX's advice then and VPN it. But if it's in my country, I'll go pay and I'll go see, because every time somebody goes, oh, you probably just downloaded it. No, I didn't. I paid my money, and I will have my right of conversation. I'll have my right of speech here.
Damn right.
And so it's really important that we as customers, because we all are customers, massive comic fans, the pair of us, we as customers get to actually say what we think and we feel. And that goes against the narrative which is being pushed, because the narrative which is being pushed is antithetical to, good customer service.
I'll even add to that even more, because you bring up a great point. And it's a point that I brought up a million times. It's like the fact that there are idiots, and this shows that they actually maybe are projecting a little bit, or this is their position. And they would get irate. I know you've experienced it. I certainly experienced it when I was covering this stuff and reviewing it, be it the books or some of the live action material that I took exception to. And for a lot of folks, it was, they had a problem with me, let's say, doing that. And, they acted as if, okay, this guy in his number one position, or what it is that he's attempting to do, is like defame and take down, disrespect, dog Marvel or DC, right? And I'm like, okay, even these crack smokers that talk about like even the Rippaverse, right? It's like these guys that'll be like, well, we're just doing what you did with Marvel. It's like, no, you didn't, because what I did for Marvel was every fucking week spend hundreds of dollars going to buy this material every fucking Wednesday. I did that, and I did that for several fucking years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be very difficult, let's say that, to find a person that spent more money on Marvel and DC product than I had over the past, let's say, 10, 15 years, right? There's not that many of them, right? So the fact that these weirdos thinking, you mentioned like stuff that you have, same with me. Like you kind of see Batman right there in the frame, right there. Hell, it's the fucking bookcase is a goddamn Batman bookcase, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you think I just got this shit just to get it? Like,
yes.
What the fuck? Like, no, this is stuff that was important to me, right? And obviously still is in terms of those stories that they're not going anywhere. Even if the modern day shit is the modern day shit, those older stories aren't going anywhere. But I brought this up in my previous video, right? And I was talking about how the lack of enthusiasm in like modern entertainment. Star Wars has a problem. DC, Marvel, a lot of these brands have that problem where a lot of people are just kind of watching this stuff. It's more of a chore than it is I'm like genuinely excited for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about the lack of enthusiasm, but one point that I did bring up was like, look, all of this product that I've spent money on, and I've been a part of this geek culture stuff, whatever you want to call it, for a very long time. The big difference is that back in the Gap, it's funny, they don't like us to sit up here and have the positions it is that we have, voice our opinion. And the hilarious thing is, what I vividly remember is that was like the cornerstone, a core tenet, let's say, that was us about nerd culture shit arguing over dumb shit, right?
Yes.
Who's more powerful than this character, right? Or this character would do this to that character. That's what this shit was about. Now, you see some, you take exception to it or whatever. You're racist, you're homophobe, you're transphobe, you're all this other shit. That's what it is now. And that we used to be able to disagree in passionate disagreements, albeit, but we all had genuine enthusiasm and we all love this fucking product. Now, what we have is a bunch of fucking tourists that I'm not convinced actually like this shit, right?
No.
At all, because again, they don't seem to be in the know, and the only opinion that they seem to have is the one that's again funneled through them, right? Or
Wikipedia wonders.
Bingo, right? That the wiki normie, right? And now it's like, well, you say something against this character. I read the Captain Marvel book, which was a lot of people came to me when I first came. Well, it was Kelly Sue, not Kelly Sue, though she had hers, but Kelly Thompson's version of Captain Marvel. And I remember reading this shit, and what the first goddamn book we have her talking about, she doesn't want to go something about fighting a 7-foot misogynist. And I'm sitting here like, no, that was the literal text, right? That wasn't me like paraphrasing. She literally said that in the first goddamn issue of that book. And I remember reading this shit like, what is this? Like, what the fuck is this dog water that I'm fucking that I'm reading right now? So a lot of the tourists, right? Well, a lot of the tourists were like, okay, well, he's trying to take down Marvel and all this. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, well, what the fuck? I'm not convinced that you actually like this shit. And to be honest, right, it's like I said with the Miles Morales books back in the Gap. Feel like I got more of them than all these motherfuckers, because for one, I know what happened in those damn stories, and for two, when I look at the sales, they don't seem to be reflective of this mass audience that supposedly is mad at me for having dare to have a position that, okay, he's not fucking Spider-Man, or whatever positions that I've had on the character and whatnot. But go back to the point, we used to be able to sit up here and argue about. That's what it was. All this we just are us passionately having passionate, let's say having passionate discussions about what people would deem as the normie and the outsider would deem as fucking insignificant. I can have the mildest of positions, and I know you can feel me on this as well. The mildest of fucking positions will get me called fucking whatever. And phobe. It doesn't matter. It can be the fucking. It doesn't have to be a hot take. You know what I mean? Or let's say it wasn't a hot take 5 years ago, right? Now it is, right? Because again, these guys don't actually and genuinely enjoy that. And I think that's unfortunately what's doing the comic book industry in, because they've kind of sacrificed that kind of hardcore, that actual fan, right? For an audience of Twitter normies that don't actually read this shit.
Well, they sacrificed it for an audience of nobody.
It doesn't exist.
Because it doesn't exist. You brought all these changes about. You changed a lot of straight characters to gay. You race change characters. You gender change characters. You push characters which nobody was buying, so they had to cancel, relaunch, cancel, relaunch.
Yep.
The literal definition of insanity. Then there's a reason why we have these terminologies, because trying to repeat the same mistake over and over again and expect a different result. They're there as hey, you need to learn and move on. You need to learn and change. And the comic book industry and entertainment industries, they have an ideology and they want to push the ideology, and they don't care if people like you and I talk up about it. Because New York Comic Con is this week, yeah. New York Comic Con is this week, and it's going to be full of industry vets and people within the current big two, DC, Marvel. And what's going to happen is they're going to go to New York and they're going to shake some hands. And some people are going to come up and get comics signed or whatever. But the most important aspect is after that, they're going to go to the parties together at night, and they're going to tell each other how wonderful they all are and how great they all are, and how wonderful the industry is that we're in. And there's going to be drinks and laughs and drugs and all kinds of shit going on, and none of them have the fucking foresight to realize they are partying in a burning building. None of them do. And then they'll go back to the real world, where they will be offered work for what? Did you see that? You most likely saw the Mags tweet where Mags decided to. Why keep coming back? Mags decided to release their master plan. That is a quote. Their master plan for Connor Kent. Connor Kent, Superboy. I would say the 90s Connor Kent even brought about the iconic look, the black jacket,
which apparently makes him lesbian, according to Max.
Because you're dealing with broken people. You're dealing with broken people that have no life experience. They have no social circle other than everybody agrees with each other. And therefore, they don't have the true diversity which is required, which is the diversity of thought. So Mags's master plan for Connor Kent, Superboy, is to turn them into a trans girl. The most boring, basic thing that you can think of from a trans creator. That just aesthetically as well, because pictures were attached, looked exactly like Mags as well. And people wonder why we heavily go in on this, because this is somebody who doesn't even deserve a place at the table. You don't even deserve. You couldn't write a comic to save your fucking life. That's why you have your GoFundMe's all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you don't deserve a place at this table. There is a lot of genuine talent out there, and I don't give a shit where that person votes once every 4 fucking years. That's the least most interesting thing I care about that person. What I do care about that person is not the superficial traits of them: color, ethnicity, race, gender. Can you write? Can you write a comic that I'm going to enjoy? And if you can write a comic that I'm going to enjoy, then I'm going to lap it up.
Right.
But we're not dealing with that. The mainstream isn't dealing with that. That's why the independent, the Iron Age, as we're calling it outside of it, the Iron Age is rising up. Because people want their entertainment. People want to actually have their escapism, which they're not getting. People don't want to be lectured to. We know this. People don't want to have their have a finger wagged at them, being told that they're this and that and the other. Fuck off. Who are you?
Right.
Seriously, who the fuck are you? You're nobody. You're nobody in an industry that nobody fucking cares about. You can walk down the street, nobody would know who the fuck you are. There's actually more chance of you walking down the street and somebody stopping you going, Eric, than there is fucking Mags Visaggio or fucking Kelly Sue DeConnick or some other fucking twat waffle like that. They are legends in their own mind. And that's what makes them even more scary, because they think there's something that they're not. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. And you're dealing with people that do care.
Oh, 100%.
This isn't bought as props, as you mentioned. This isn't bought for show.
Yeah.
This is bought because of my love of Transformers. This is bought because of my love of PlayStation 1 games. PlayStation 2 games. This has brought my love of the Dreamcast, or Shenmue as a specific game, or whatever it might be. These are my Batman. I got a quarter scale Batman hidden in the corner there. Oh, he's hiding behind the G.I. Joe. Oh, yeah. He's hiding behind the G.I. Joes, which I guess I just bought to fucking pose with.
Yeah.
You know, we actually care. So when you try to push something on people who legitimately care, you know, when you try and piss on them and tell them it's raining, that person goes, fuck off.
Yeah.
I have some disposable income. I will put that disposable income, which I would have spent on comics, into somewhere else. Whether it be Warhammer 40k, Lego, hot toys, whatever it may be. But that person will find somewhere else for that money to go. And if that company then starts to shit on them again, they'll go somewhere else. And we've seen systematically over the last few years, people probably bouncing from one franchise to another, from one company to another, from one brand to another, because they're trying to find out which brands actually care about them.
Yeah.
Which brands
100%.
actually want to produce something that they're going to like. I'm not asking a company to call me up on the phone and go, I just want to let you know I love you. I don't know. I just want the product that the company's producing to be like, yeah, I think they care, you know.
You should never, and I say this not just as a creative, but you know, obviously facilitating everything that we're doing over here at the Rippaverse. Like, you never want to put, and this is what I've gotten, the feeling I've gotten when dealing with the Marvels and the DCs of the world, is that it feels like I give more of a fuck about this shit than the writers do, right?
Yeah.
And that should never be the case.
No.
Right? That should never be the case. They should not give a shit more about it, let's say as a fan, than I do as the creator. I should have just as, if not more, passion in that product, but that's not what it is that we're getting. And I think the Max thing, and I have a video being worked on actually right now where I dissect this whole deal and how it just, you know, you look at it, yeah, they didn't pick up that script, but think about all the ones that they did, right?
Yes.
Like the companies did. I mean, in fact, in the actual script, she brings up Iceman and the criminal thing that happened to him, right? And says that that's similar. That's one of the ones that actually, you know, made no fucking sense, but they did it. They did it because for them, they lead with this shit, right? They lead with, okay, they feel some kind of, it's a social preference, whatever that may be, right? Social, sometimes political view that they have. And everything else is working backwards from there. And everything else is using this character as a vehicle to do that. So it's hilarious when you read that little pitch, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, from Mags. And she's like, oh, yeah, I love the character so much. And it's like, why, if you love him so much, why are you trying to fundamentally change him?
Exactly. They give themselves away. They give themselves away. All they want to do is attach themselves to a character like Tim Drake, Jonathan Kent. Now, you know, what she tried to do with Connor Kent. They try and attach themselves to a character that is way above their pay grade.
Right.
Way above their pay grade. You know? Do you think Chuck Dixon, when he was given to simultaneously write at the same time Detective Comics, Azrael, Catwoman, Nightwing, Robin, which he was pretty much doing all at the same fucking time, do you think Chuck Dixon just said, you know what?
And did Birds of Prey.
Yeah, and Birds of Prey, which came a little bit later on, which is way better than the Gail Simone shit, whichever fucking came out. And he doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
No, he
Chuck
doesn't.
Dixon
He
with
should.
Birds of Prey.
He fucking should, but he doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Chuck was there going, oh, well, I want Tim Drake to have a beard now because that's what I've got. I want Chuck Dixon to suddenly like this or like that or be a mega conservative or just what? No. Chuck's there thinking, right, what good stories can I do for Tim Drake? What voice can I give Tim Drake which separates him from the voice of Dick Grayson, which separates him from the voice of Jean-Paul Vallée, which separates him from the voice of Bruce Wayne in Detective Comics? You know, what voice do I give Tim? So you know that Chuck Dixon's looking back at the way that Robin has been written over the years,
of course,
through Alan Grant and et cetera, and he's gone, right. Obviously, I want to put my own little bits and pieces in there, but fundamentally, Tim Drake must act like Tim Drake.
Yep.
So, and I never for one moment, from reading the Robin miniseries to reading the Alan Grant stuff, Lonely Pace of Dying, and all of that led all the way through to Chuck taking over and doing the solo Robin series. I never once thought, oh, this is out of character. This is out of character of Tim. No, because there seem to be some core ideals already placed with Tim Drake. This is why Tim Drake is a different Robin to Jason Todd and a different Robin to Dick Grayson. You could tell that those the Bible, whatever they want to call it, you could tell that Bible was in place. But now you get I can't even remember the dog shit writer that wrote the recently cancelled after 10 issues Tim Drake series.
No, you're talking about that's Kent. You're talking about
I'm talking about the Tim
Drake.
Robin. Tim Drake Robin.
What was that fucker's name? I can't remember.
Some silly bint. She is just like, oh, it's such a great. She is because what they did is when, oh, I'm such a big fan of Tim Drake. I'm gonna
change the fundamentals.
I'm gonna change him completely. I'm gonna take 30 years of Tim Drake and shit all over it. I'm gonna take 30 years of Tim Drake and his incredible relationship with Stephanie Brown, and I'm gonna go, fuck that.
Fuck all that shit.
He's gonna be like me. Wow, that's how much you love Tim Drake, is it? You just want to turn him into a fucking male version of you. Gotcha, because that's the only thing that you can fucking talk about. That's the only experience that you have. People in our sphere, people who like geek stuff, we're very passionate. Like I said, we argue about who could win in a fight between Batman and Spider-Man. And we will go to the gladiatorial games to fucking defend that.
I miss those days, man.
I do. But that person sees through this like tissue paper. That's why we look at Mags's pitch for Connor Kent, and what do? We laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking obvious. You have nothing. I know that you have nothing to say, but it's so true. You don't have anything to say. When as a corporation or as an individual, when your ideology as a corporation is based around the percentage rate of your fucking ESG loan repayments, yeah, or the score that you get from the ESG because of your diversity, if your morality is developed around that, if your characters are developed around that, you have nothing to say because you are never coming from a genuine, authentic position. And if somebody says, I love this so much, then I'm going to fundamentally change it. They don't love that one bit. It's all gaslighting nonsense, optic nonsense to say the right thing so that when somebody like you or I turn around and go, who the fuck is this Connor Kent guy now? Who the fuck is this Tim Drake guy right now? Who's this fucking Jonathan Kent guy right now? They can turn around and go, I love this. I love this. I loved it so much, I fucking fundamentally destroyed it.
It's bullshit, man. It's fucking hilarious watching it kind of happen in real time like that with the whole Mag situation. It's like, yeah, you're telling us, of course, what it is that we already knew, and it really helps and aids really our position because it's like, look, this person is sitting there telling you what it is that their aspirations were, right? And there's other people that actually were able to get their pitches through, and they happen. That's how you got fucking gay Iceman, right? That's how you got.
Pick one, anyone.
yeah, just true. You just pick a fucking character, but that's how you got them and why they're so fundamentally different. And by the way, Iceman, I'd argue, was one of the worst ones because it makes no sense. Like that, like considering that he was damn near a playboy. Like you go into fucking now this. I don't know if people, and I wouldn't encourage people to read the modern versions of him, but like when you talk about like a core fucking X-Men. This motherfucker Iceman is now going around in like high heels and shit. Like he's extremely gay. You gonna sit up here and tell me he was always this way? Like get the fuck out of here. Like this is what I'm talking about with the whole gaslight thing, because it's like they're sitting there telling me that it's something that it's not, or it's always been that way. And that's exactly what Max did. That's what she did with the in that whole write-up was like, come on, look at the haircut, right? Look at the jacket. They already are kind of lesbian, right? It's like, no, that's not what this is. That's not what it ever has been. That's never been the case. but you want it to be that way because you're that way. Even in literally the whole as a trans woman, that's in the write-up.
Eric, I don't think Mags can afford a leather jacket. Okay. Go fund me, Mags of Versace, to buy a leather jacket.
It's fucking.
But right. Okay, dude, you know this as well as I do. When you've read Bobby for God knows how many years, when you've read Jonathan Kent for God knows how many years, when you've read Tim Drake for God knows how many years, and Connor Kent for God knows how many years, when you've actually purchased those comics, and I've been collecting comics since 1992, for fuck's sake, I'm an old bastard. 30 years of collecting comics. I've read, not all of them, obviously, because there's just so many. But, I was a huge preponderant of the Bat family. I'd buy everything that I possibly could that was Bat-related, miniseries, one-shot, separate titles, Nightwing, Robin, Catwoman. Yeah. Read them all. Read as much as I could. Loved the characters. When you've done that for decades, and you get the inner monologues of these characters.
Yeah.
You get their feelings out of speech bubbles. You get where they're coming from emotionally, where they're coming from whether it be justice, their morality. You get all of this, and it's laid out on the page. In 30 years of reading Tim Drake, never once did he say, "Got a date with Stephanie Brown tonight, but I really could do with sucking a dick." I never read that once. Never read that once. I never saw Tim on a skyscraper looking down saying, Gotham's quiet tonight. That guy over there's got a great ass. Never once. Was that in there? You see, and so when somebody then comes in and goes, "Oh, well, Tim's clearly bisexual," and bisexual we mean gay because he'll never be with a woman again in comics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that's the way that bisexuality works in comics, of course. For a fact, you're just like, this makes no sense. So you say to yourself, "Look, I don't care if you want to write a comic about a gay character. That's your prerogative to do so. I don't care if it's an independent, and I don't care if it's mainstream. But it's got to be original. If you want to take a fundamentally heterosexual character and try and turn the guy, it's never going to work.
Never.
Because the people that actually like that character are going to be pissed because you fundamentally changed them. And then when you do create that character, even if it's spectacularly written, it will probably only get a certain audience. Maybe a little bit beyond what you initially thought it could get. But they don't want that. They want the ideology with the audience. And they think the audience has to go along with the ideologically changed character because you like Tim Drake, you like Bobby, you like Connor, you like Jonathan. So ergo, you must like this, ergo, you must agree to the ideology. And that's not how life works.
True.
You don't have to be a homophobe or a bigot to say, well, I'm not really interested in reading a comic about gay dudes. It's just not my appeal. It's not my preference. But now you're not allowed a preference. Your preference must be determined by the ideology that they're pushing. So if they're pushing a trans ideology, you must be open to a relationship with a trans person. And that's not how choice works. Well, if you don't, you're a bigot. Call me what you fucking want. Call me whatever you want. Demonize me as much as you want. I'm still not going to bang that dude. All right? It's not the way I'm built. It's not the way I'm made. It's not my preference. Same with writing the books. Just not my, could be great, could be well written, but it's just not for me, Not what works for me. But they don't want that.
No.
And they know those characters will never take off anyway.
Well, yeah, that's why they try to funnel them through, of course, characters that everybody recognizes. Because,
exactly.
Of course, it would never take, and we've seen it. I mean, and this is the thing that gets me. It's like these people are so narcissistic, and to your point, they don't really understand these characters. They don't care to understand these characters because for them, it's about making that character a reflection of them, and kind of projecting that onto that individual character. And like you said, they want the audience that, let's say, comes with that. But we see that what happened with the Jonathan kid with the Son of Kal-El thing, where maybe you get one boost, right? Where you get people that are speculators anticipating that, okay, this is going to be this big kiss happen. So whatever happens in the future, now this character is gay, and somehow that's going to be worth something. And then it falls off a fucking cliff. Like nobody's into it. Like it falls off them literally off the fucking sales chart. Like not even joking. Like it falls.
I know.
One of the sales charts that we had available to us, literally it fell off the bitch, right? Even if you consider that next month, you want to say, well, only the annual came out. Go to the next one, right? It fell off the bitch. Nobody wanted it. Nobody actually wanted that. Nobody asked for that. But of course, nobody wanted that. And instead of having the humility about themselves and to realize they fucked up, they seem to double down. And that all goes for having zero respect for these characters. I love what you brought about Chuck Dixon and all these characters he wrote. And I can speak from experience working with this man. He writes Alpha Core. The first thing that he wants to establish, who the fuck are these characters?
Exactly.
It's not, okay, I want them to go in the direction. Chuck's, we sat in there, we had a meeting. Who is this character, right? I need to know what type of, what are you, I gave him everything I had. I gave him my universe Bible entries, everything. So he knew exactly what it is that I had planned for him in the future. He knew exactly who these characters were, because that's what he was actually interested in, because he's not trying to just write Chuck Dixon self-inserts, right? That's not what it is that he's trying to do. He's trying to write good stories that make sense for those individual characters, and he's so fucking good. There's another unannounced project that he's working on, right, for us, and he's so fucking good that even when I'm like, okay, look, this is what I envision, he'll question it. Like he'll be like, okay, wait a minute. Now, considering that we did this, and this, does this make sense? Right. And we reassess. Right. I've learned so much from him, and even as a more of a mentor, as a writer, all that shit working here, because his job, he understands that he needs to know these characters, and he's trying to write who they are, not who he wants them to be. Who are these characters? I can put them in a setting and a thrilling story and something that's compelling, something that people are going to be interested in. I can put them in that story. I just need to understand who it is that they are. And to me, that's what separates the Chuck Dixons of the world, which is why it's fucking criminal that a guy like that with that level of expertise was even a fucking free agent, bro. Like the fact that I could even pitch the shit to him. Thank you. I mean, don't get me wrong. One of the best things that ever happened to me. I am thankful. But on a more serious note, he should have, a guy with that level of expertise should have never been a free agent ever.
But we know why he was.
Of course. Absolutely.
Exactly. And it's all antithetical to producing good product.
Yes.
All of it. That's the state of the industry. Yeah. Go to your parties that are on fire. Go there. Drink the alcohol, which is just going to go up in smoke as well. Do it all. Pat yourselves on the back. Tell each other how wonderful you are. And then go back on Saturday and open up another GoFundMe because you can't afford a fucking meal. And then tell me that you're wanted so much by the industry that you get, but even worse, that you get you still get work through it because of this shit.
It's remarkable, man. And it's like anybody that comes by and tries to actually fix some of these problems, they're seen as the fucking enemy, right? Again, look at us, look at other people that are in the more independent space. One of the things that I've tried to correct were the economics of the comic book business. None of the shit made sense. It wasn't very beneficial to the creators, and that was one of the things that I sought to create. And these motherfuckers would rather get pimped by the people that they're fucking working for, mainstream or not. They much rather get pimped, and in a process, just because they get maybe a tiny bit of fucking clout from fundamentally changing some character, maybe that ends up in some CBR fucking article or some shit, or one of their peers in a tweet with 1,000 likes pats them on the back for being so bold and brave. Meanwhile, you're still broke, right? You're still broke. In this book, nobody fucking wants, right?
No,
nobody wants any of that goofy shit. So, I sought to correct a lot of those issues. The point is to give. I'm writing for people that want the shit, right? Like I'm writing. There's a demand there. I acknowledge the demand. I want to give them more of that. It's like with the whole Yaira situation. I knew it was gonna be a fucking crime if I didn't get something going right with that character. Right? People got the brief introduction. They made it loud and clear. Okay, look, we want more. Okay, let's get it. Got the Saskas on it. They wrote 2 stories already, 2 issues of this character, and we're already moving. And the same thing can be said for the others that we introduce. We fill out the market and all that. But you know, I can't like up and change fucking. Oh no, ISOM. I get some Hispanic writer to write ISOM, and now all of a sudden he's fucking Dominican. You know what I mean? And gay, maybe because I hired a gay Dominican to write him, and that's just. Hey man, he was always like that, right? Like it's like shit like that. Like I can't, like, of course, and I would be expected to crash and burn, right? That would be anticipated, and it should happen, right? I deserve every bit of that. If I go back on the word or my own individual word, or I do something that fundamentally changes these characters that makes them unfucking recognizable to where they're a completely different character, I deserve everything it is that I'm gonna get and the economic strife that's gonna fucking come with it. For them, they don't see it that way because they think they inherit the money and they're owed the let's say support of everybody else.
Also, I think there's something to be added to that. I think also they take it exceptionally personally, and they take it exceptionally personally because they self-inserted. And so the attack that you do on that character is an attack on them because in their eyes they are it. And so that's why they can't separate the two. They can't separate the criticism of the work because they think you are criticizing them because they made it them, because that's the only thing that they know how to fucking talk about. And people, I liked the very, you know, it wasn't a huge amount of Yara in ISOM 1, but I really liked it because there was just that little bit of mystery, that little bit of something, je ne sais quoi, whatever you want to call it. But as you know, and all the chat knows, you know, all this bullshit that we keep on hearing about. Oh, you're so scared of strong female characters. Of course. You're so scared of them. No, what we don't like is when a strong female character has to compromise aspects of her, whether it be her femininity, whether it be her vulnerability, whatever aspects, when it's compromised because you want to turn it into a fucking man with tits.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Well, even flat-chested, to be honest with you, most of the time. No ass, no fucking tits. But it's basically a man, a stoic man in a woman's body that's being produced because femininity is bad. Vulnerability is bad because it's synonymous with weakness. The greatest characters ever created, from Batman to Superman to Spider-Man to the X-Men, all of them have a spectrum of strength, vulnerability, morality, weakness, have been broken down all time and time again to be raised back up again. Because through adversity comes strength. That's where it comes from. But we are now subject to a bunch of characters that can't do no wrong. Can't do no wrong. Can't show any love. Can't show any affection. Can't want the eye of a man. Can't want this. Can't want that. And all you're doing is you're neutering the creative process because you're not allowing for natural, normal, everyday feelings and emotions to come through because you're desperate to make your strong, what I like to call strong woman, which isn't strong at all. They're a fucking one-dimensional brick wall. Whereas I can see that, no doubt, that when we see Yara, we're going to see strength from her. We're going to see femininity from her. Absolutely. We're probably going to see some vulnerability, and we might even see something like the classic, dare I say it, hero's journey where they have to be in a position to get knocked down to come back up. It's a classic because it's the funnest thing. The hero's journey is displayed in every single fucking wrestling match ever.
Yeah.
It's whether it be through the heel or the babyface. It's a story of, oh no, look, they're getting the shit kicked out of them. What, they're gonna lose? Oh my god, they fought back and won.
Yeah.
It's a classic tale that people gravitate towards, and mainstream is not allowing their characters to be that way. They're not allowing their characters to behave. How would you go from Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown wandering off together to the next time you see Tim, he's there wondering what a fucking dick in his mouth feels like? You know, doesn't work. It doesn't make logical sense.
And that's the thing. It doesn't make sense. And just like Iceman, he's now like flamboyantly gay. It's a character change. Yeah, it's like that. Like it's a complete fucking character change.
You crept up on me
at this point, you know. And the Stephanie Brown thing, it worked so fucking well, man. It made all the sense in the world. It made sense. It worked. We saw how it worked, the dynamic between them. We saw that in Detective Comics a lot. And
opposites attract.
Yes.
Batman, Catwoman.
Yes.
Lois Lane, Clark Kent, Stephanie Brown, and Tim Drake were just a classic opposites attract. Very different to Tim.
Yep. And ran it into the ground for what? For fucking what? For, again, a headline on CBR, right? Yes. It wasn't worth it. Was it fucking, well, I guess to them.
Well, it is to them because though CBR, Bleeding Cool, they are websites that are purely designed not for you or I, not for the comic book reader. Because I know this for a fact, knowing people within the mainstream industry that don't want to speak out, that do contact you, literally the mainstream comic book industry is looking to these articles for themselves, for their own name being there, so that they can turn around to their peers and go,
hey, look at me.
Got an article here and this, got an article here and that. It's just selfish gratification. That's all it is.
That's insane.
They're not writing these articles for the comic book reader. They're not writing it for you or I. They're not writing it because they're trying to attract people to legitimately come into the comic book industry and start collecting that title, whatever it be, Iceman, Batman, X-Men, whatever it may. No. It's an industry website for industry people to fucking sniff their own farts and say, aren't we amazing? Let's go to a party in this burning building.
Yep. That's funny. I mean, that's what these guys often, hell, even when CBR covered the whole Max thing, I mean, look at what they led with. Eisner and Glad nomination. Like, they care more about their fucking peers, right? Than they do the readers, right? So that can be said for the articles. That could also be said for the fucking books, man. They are not writing them with us in mind. They are writing them for an audience that does not really exist. They don't. If they do, they either are not really interested in this shit, or they don't have the capital to actually buy into it. We've seen it time and time again, you know, that these guys do not actually buy this material, which is why it always falls off the cliff. And so even when it looks like, yeah, maybe if you took it to Twitter or you saw the headlines, it looks like these characters are very popular, right? Oh, they couldn't be greater, right? So their fellow peer with their blue check mark co-signed what it is that person did and what it is they said. Oh, this is brave, this is bold, this is awesome, this is great. And to them, that seems to matter a lot more. And I've said this, and it's got me in trouble, but I'm right on this. Look, if it comes between my customers and my peers, I'm taking the customers every fucking time. Like, absolutely. My peers could think I'm right. We're producing the worst shit in the world. The customers could think it's the greatest. I'm going with them every time because that's who I'm doing it for. I'm not doing it for my peers. I'm not doing it to be impressive to folks that are, I guess, in the same industry. I mean, that doesn't do me any good. That's a cosign. That's a hot side. That doesn't help me out, though. That's not going to put money in our pockets. That's not going to grow this company because so-and-so that's been around the block or is a writer or is an artist actually like this shit. Though nobody gives a, being completely, I mean, and a lot of artists and writers do need humbling there because nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody really gives a shit. Maybe your peers do, but it doesn't really matter as it pertains to your content that it is that you're trying to produce. And that's why so many people get themselves in trouble economically, because you're not doing it for the right reasons. This stuff is therapeutic for me. I love to create. Writing the Rippaverse stuff is I'm having the greatest time of my fucking life, you know, and I understand that the audience changed my life and turning this into within a year's time, not even a year's time, really fucking first 2 days of lunch, right? A $1 million fucking company, right? I can now say that I'm part of that, and I want to keep creating for those that want that material, trying to be impressive to folks that I don't even think they actually like these people, right? Like, because when you get in the nitty gritty, right? Do they even like each other, right? Aren't
they
really
hate
just
each
holding
other.
ideological guns to each other? I mean, what was the Whisper Network after all, right? Like, it's sitting there waiting to fucking cancel each other.
Yes,
so it's not even genuine. They don't even like you like that. But for some reason, that's who you're doing it for, and that just makes for overall bad art. It makes for terrible entertainment. And that's what it is that we're seeing. We're seeing bad fucking entertainment made by people that don't actually like this shit. And I'd actually go a step further. Sometimes, like definitely when I see some shit that like T. Franklin does, it seems like it's more to spite the fucking audience. Like it isn't even that they're trying to write it for someone else. It's like, I know this is going to piss y'all off, so I'm going to fucking do it. Right. And to me, that's about as fucked up as it gets. And, you know, I don't know who's running the fucking insane asylum over there for both of these companies. I don't really know what their fucking editors do if they facilitate that or any of that. But it doesn't seem like it's a good idea to have people that have that treat your audience with contempt to be writing characters that people care about.
How's a mainstream editor meant to function these days? Legit question. How is a mainstream editor meant to function these days? You get a fucking script from Mags or some shite. Hawk Girl, let's take Hawk Girl. You get some absolute fucking sack of garbage put in front of you, and as an editor, you want to say, this is fucking shite. Get rid of that. You can't have that. What is this there for? Why is that there? And then you give that back to the stunning and brave, diverse. You're fired. How dare you? I created this piece, and I just got absolutely besieged by this cis white male editor who dared have the gall to shout down and he's homophobic, because that's the optics that your industry's now producing.
The fuck out of
you can't take criticism. You can't take criticism whatsoever. You don't want to learn. You just want to shove your fucking dog shit in the comic. True. So what's the editor got to do? The editor's got to go,
shrug and say fuck it. Ship it.
Yeah. I'm cashing a paycheck. Yeah. That's it. I'm cashing a paycheck.
That's how it is, because they've been pimped. I mean, it's like, again, the same people control the asylum, and you bring up a great point, you know, in that, and like, what can an editor do, you know, at this point within a corporate entity like that, without being like, you could imagine a Jim Shooter type being in that fucking position.
He'd throw it in their face.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
throw it in their face.
What in the fuck is this?
What is this fucking dog shit?
Get the fuck out of my office. Don't come back. Go. You're done.
You're fired. You're out. Go.
Right? They would be fucking all over him, and he'd be, of course, to them, the most racist person, and because of racial bias and all this other bullshit or sexism and all that other nonsense, because you know, he wanted. So he was an editor. He was an actual fucking editor, and in that you have to make fucking decisions. It's not everybody's fucking passion project. Look, I say it all the time. With anybody that we bring on, the first thing is first you have to know who it is that you're dealing with. And to be fair, we're dealing with professionals here, so they actually take it upon themselves to learn who it is that they are. Like when it comes to the Saskas, when it comes to Chuck Dixon, we literally sat down. It had meetings about who before. This is before Penn met Pad, right? It was long before that we even got to that process. It was, I need to know who they are, because that's who I'm writing. I'm not writing. Yeah. It's not about what. Yeah, you can create a character or two that can be, of course, part that's in the story. That's more akin to a vision it is that you specifically have. But when you're writing a character, definitely that other people have created, there's something that's already been established, and you want to know who it is that they are. And again, for these guys, you can even tell just in how the release schedule is set up. Nobody knows who fucking is writing what. It's no collaboration. There's no what's happening in your book that I'm writing, right? As far as I'm writing a character that's in your book, you know, maybe we should be cohesive. Think that conversation's being had over there? Fuck,
they used to. I know they used to.
Yeah, it was a requirement. It was a requirement. Definitely when you know you had someone else showing up in someone's book. This is why when a Spider-Man showed up, I remember that. Oh man, was it? Chips. I don't know if you remember this. in his Daredevil, might have been Chip Stark. I can't remember, but you know, Daredevil's going through his shit, right? Being a little reckless. Spider-Man, right? He goes to Daredevil goes to his crib, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once he gets up there, Spider-Man's there, right? And Spider-Man, remember, these guys are all in New York, which is crazy. New York has all these fucking problems, right? Despite having all these heroes.
Should be the safest fucking city in the world.
Safest goddamn city ever. But, you know, he was standing there and he's like, you're done, bro. You're fucking done. Like, hang this shit up. You're done. I'm sitting over there. That should be the most fucking epic fucking moment. Right there. It should be powerful. It should be impactful. But I just read 17 other fucking Spider-Man books, right? that came out the same goddamn week. And there is no correlation here whatsoever. None whatsoever, because it feels more, it's a quantity over quality thing, and it feels more like a goddamn free-for-all. It's like, you get a book, you get a book, you get a book. Hey, you're writing Spider-Man, cool. I'm gonna give you same spot. It's gonna be Peter Parker. He's just gonna be in a little different setting on your book. And you're like, well, wait a minute. These are coming out at the same fucking time. Doesn't matter. Ship it. Fucking ship it. Just ship it. And to me, that just shows the lack of interest that is really there from the editorial staff. It's creative. It's not just with the social bullshit and the political shit. It's just creative all around. It's a fucking free-for-all, man. It's a free-for-all, and the audience picks up on this, and that's why unit sales go down. That's why people are far less interested, because they know you don't give a shit. So what incentive do they have to give a shit when the folks that are insisting that they buy this doesn't care? They've made it abundantly clear they don't. It doesn't matter to them. This is just a little gig, and especially as they brought on people that you mentioned, the mags of the world. But even like the likes of the Ta-Nehisi Coates of the world, when people need to conceptualize this. He gets brought in. He's writing two of the most fucking prominent goddamn characters that Marvel has in Captain fucking America and Black Panther.
But we know why.
Of course. We know, probably because, I don't know, he's a guy that won, literally, not even joking. You can look it up. You can vet this. An award that he won is called the Harriet Beecher Stowe Award for social justice. That's why he fucking got that gig. There was no ever. Trust me, I looked it up. I was like, there has to be some sort of evidence of this guy, like saying that he was in the comics, saying that he was like, this was something that this was a hobby of his. He was
but he did celebrate first responders dying in 9/11.
That did happen, right? That was a thing, right? But it wasn't ever, yeah, man, I'm really into this shit. There was no evidence of that. He just pops up, and now we have Ta-Nehisi Coates writing this terrible fucking intergalactic Wakanda fucking terrible goddamn concept, and they let him do it. They let him fucking do it along with the Captain America shit. They let him fucking do it. He just pops up. That's showing me as the reader, you guys don't come. Meanwhile, again, free agent Chuck Dixon's there. Y'all have iced him completely out.
This is a petulant child who is not remotely afraid of doing whatever they're going to do, because they don't believe there's going to be any repercussions whatsoever, because they have a rich dad. And Marvel's rich dad is Disney. And so, as we've already heard from Kelly Sue DeConnick and people like that, they don't even want comics to be based upon sales now. They just want them to become IP farms. That's it. You pay me to write this story. Fuck gives a shit if the audience actually like it. This is a perspective, a story for you for the future. This is a perspective character for you for the future. Big billion-dollar company who owns us. And that's why they can do this. That's why they can bring on a piece of shit like Ta-Nehisi Coates. That's why they can DC and JJ fucking no more white comfort, says Mr. almost billionaire fucking white boy, can turn around and go, oh, I'm hiring Ta-Nehisi Coates to write Black Superman. Not Black Elseworld Superman, Black Clark Kent Superman. That's what he's going to be. Oh, by the way, that film never coming to a cinema ever near you. But that's why they can do that and then put the optics out, because it's optics.
That's all.
Look what we've got. We've got Captain Ideology that is aligned with Hollywood ideology that's going to be put onto a franchise where we take a white guy and destroy him because ideology. That's what we got. That's what all these fucking weirdos are. You know, Director X, minuscule one, but Director X, Robin Hood, black fucking bisexual female. It's like, holy fuck, have you literally got the tick box behind you? You've literally got it, and you're going, right, we'll do that one, and that one. So they're pretty much as radically changed as they can possibly be. Also, let's tick major whore on the bottom of there as well, because they have a cookie jar of condoms in the kitchen instead of fucking cookies. Don't even want to get what it's going into there. But it's ideology. We're sick of it. All of us, we're fucking sick of it. I'm not reading ISOM and going, wonder what Eric's political position is based off the fact that this guy ordered a screwdriver, not a beer. I'm not thinking those kind of things whatsoever. But when it comes to comics, you're like, why did he turn Tim gay? Why did he turn Connor? Why did he want to turn Connor into a trans femme? Why did he want to? Why have you turned Jonathan Kent gay? You know, because it's all ideology. It's all optics for people that are in a bubble. None of it's about entertainment. None of it is customer orientated, because none of this has got sales attached to it.
That's true.
What they do want attached to it is headlines. Headlines. That's what they want attached to it. They want it, boom. And of course, once a character has been tainted, and by tainted, I mean fundamentally changed. You know, you could be a gay person watching this stream, but I'm pretty sure that most of you agree that if a character's been a set way for decades, and then you fundamentally change that character, you are tainting that character.
Yes.
And once they've gone in there and they've tainted the Tim Drakes and the Jonathan Kents and all that, and even they played with Bruce Wayne in recent times. They tried to give him
they tried to do that, like
some little ambiguous
he's undercover type shit.
Bruce is kind of like maybe a little bit, likes a bit of dude. You know, they tried to do that because once they believe in their eyes, once they've ideologically tainted the character, that character is forever ideologically aligned to them.
True.
So whoever picks it, even if I get fired, even if I go, because inevitably I will, because I'm a talentless fucking hack. When all that's gone, the taint has still happened. So really, if DC want to say, look, what they did with Tim Drake, Jonathan Kent is fucking crime. It's a war crime. What they've done with these, what they have to fundamentally do is just reset. They've got to do a fucking reset. But the people who did what they did will always turn around and go, yeah, but back in when I wrote it in 2022, Tim was this, and therefore he's got that aspect to him. They are vandals would be a compliment. I could say another word, but I don't want to use it on your stream. But these let's just say these are the type of people that hang around to drag people into dark alleyways and have their way with them.
No,
that's what they are. That's what they're essentially doing to the characters.
That's true.
And it's criminal. And what angers me probably more than that is the passiveness of your Jim Lees and whoever. I mean, I think at Marvel, there's some real weird stuff going on at Marvel with what's her name? Ms. Marvel. New Ms. Marvel creator. God damn it. Amonat. Yeah. Yeah, she's been very quiet, as you may have known, as you may have realized for the past 12 months, a little bit more. Let's just say there's some stuff which has been going on with Sam Amonat. But none of them are, she's ideologically aligned with everything that's going on. She's part of the problem. Jim Lee's an apathetic bitch that just wants to cash a paycheck and go fucking fishing. And when I look back at all the great Jim Lee stuff that I've loved throughout the years, it fucking angers me.
Yeah.
that nobody in the comic book industry, in the mainstream comic book industry, whether it be DC or Marvel, I don't care where, none of you had the fucking balls to stand up for your industry. Because you know that if you do stand up for your industry and you're, let's just say, a regular writer, there could be some repercussions for you, and you don't want that because you want your job. But I'm talking about the big boys. I'm talking about your Scott Snyders, talking about your Sean Gordon Murphys, the people that have the opportunity to talk up. J. Scott Campbell got involved in a conversation.
Yeah.
And then he got the call overnight.
Had to kind of walk
and
it
then
back.
He completely walked it back the next day. And I did a visceral video about that. And then he sort of like not turned fully again, but it's kind of like again. You know, you are the people that have the actual voice because you have the talent. You know, I think Scott Snyder's works all over the place now, but the guy's got great talent. Sean Gordon Murphy's got amazing talent as an artist and a writer. J. Scott Campbell is an incredible writer.
Absolutely.
These are people that will never fail to get work, regardless of whether they're independent or mainstream. And they will be able to command a great fee for their work because it's work that sells because they actually have talent. And because people like that, because others as well, didn't stick up, Frank Chose and people like that, didn't stick up for the people that got dogpiled that by whisper networks. Because you didn't do that, your Warren Ellis's as well. It's not Warren Ellis's fault that he fucks a chick. He can't fucking ejaculate talent into her, though. That's not what comes out, I'm afraid. That's not the fucking deal there. You know? You can't suck the talent out of Warren Ellis's penis. It's not how it works. You've got to actually have it yourself, sweetheart. I'm sorry that you didn't get a job in mainstream comics. Not how it works. Fucking hell. It's not a casting couch on Hollywood. There's got to be something there, you know? But they weren't stuck up for nobody stuck up for these people. And if they voiced it at the time when all this shit was going on, there might have been a chance to save it.
That's true. Now it's so infested. I mean, it's like there's no turning fucking around that shit, man, unless you're just talking about trading off assets and then canning everybody, literally everybody. That would be the only way that I think that it could turn around, if that, which is, again, it's a pipe dream. It'll never happen. I mean, you know, Jim Lee, and I've spoke about it a million times, incredible artist, terrible leader.
Yeah.
Terrible leader. Probably not a leader at all. I mean, it's funny. There's a
figurehead. Yeah.
Go watch. I encourage you guys, because I'm pretty sure it's still available on YouTube. I was actually streaming this live. Remember when the DC Fandom thing happened? And they were talking about
geez.
Obviously the Milestone reboot was a fucking disaster. And we saw it a mile away.
What a surprise.
Oh yeah, what a surprise, right? That you get Vita Ayala to retcon Static, or excuse me, Static, excuse me.
Static, yeah.
And to be a part of either getting his powers as part of some fucking Black Lives
Matter.
Yeah, that was gonna be a great, I mean, that's issue 0, bro. Like, that was literally issue fucking 0. Way to pop off your fucking reboot, right? Everybody's gonna be intrigued by that. So that was dead on arrival. But I want people to go pay attention to not just the body language, but how they talk to that man during that whole Milestone reboot. I think Phil, or I think other people were part of it.
Yeah.
And they like treating him like he, for one, ain't a part of the game. Like, he hasn't been there as an artist for as long as he had been, right? He's not a fucking leader. He's just not. That's not what he's good for. And he had no business being in the position it is that he had. And that's what the DCs of the world and the Marvels of the world, that's what they're missing. Fucking leadership that will be the bad guy. That's part of actually being a fucking leader. Right?
But I mean,
you're gonna tell someone no, they're gonna feel some kind of way about it, and then you go tell them to go fuck themselves.
Well, Jim Lee's still got, everyone knows, you know, it's particularly within comics, everyone knows the name Jim Lee.
Yep.
You know, the guy is a legend in the industry. We you know, there's no denying these things. The reason why Jim Lee's in that position is for optics. It's optics. It's so you can bring out Jim Lee to do this interview for DC Comics. You can put Jim Lee on the TV for DC Fandom, where every 3 seconds we have to say inclusion and diversity.
That was
every 3 fucking seconds. By the way, let's get a bunch of fucking presenters from all around the world because of inclusion and diversity, Unfortunately, about 10% only speak fucking English. But don't worry, that broken English, if you put the subtitles on, you'll get a fun time to read. But that's what it's there. That's what he's there for. He's there to be peddled out as the figurehead of DC Comics. Jim Lee, yay! Go fish. Now he's off fishing, you know. He doesn't care. He's cashing his paycheck. He's getting a good amount.
Yeah, he's getting his check. He's good. You know what I mean? And that's the unfortunate thing. And again, why I think that it's in the position that it's in is just sheer lack of leadership. And when these are people that probably have never been told no in their lives. And that's why the whole pulling those cards are very attractive, right? You just simply make maybe a more objective statement or have more of an objective position, right? And you just say, look, man, I don't think this is the way that this should be done. And this is why. Well, that doesn't matter.
Imagine being somebody who has been hired based on their inclusion and diversity, who knows that they don't have the talent for the job because they weren't this isn't based off meritocracy anymore.
That's true.
Who understands that they're going to be putting their dog shit into the public sphere and their narcissism on top of that. What's going on in their fucking head? There must be just a massive wiring everywhere, fucked in the absolute head. They must be so resentful and bitter and angry because they know they're not there for the right reasons. They know they haven't been hired correctly, and they know they haven't got the talent. And so when somebody like either you or I, or just somebody in general, says something, they know, but their ego won't allow that because their peers are telling them they're stunning and brave. Their narcissism won't allow that. I deserve to be in this position. Yep. I mean, not because I have any talent. The only reason why I think I deserve it is because I know that I don't have the talent, and there's 1,000, 10,000 people that should be ahead of me in the queue. They know all of this, and they're there in positions to put out work, bodies of work for beloved characters. And then, of course, when nobody buys the comic, the big kicker isn't you or I speaking about it. It's the sales numbers, because they know how much they shipped. They know when they go into a comic book shop and they just see it fucking rotting on a shelf. They know that nobody bought this, nobody read it. So for all the optics of the news articles that they get, your CBRs, your bleeding fools, all that, they know that it's nothing. It's meaningless. They're meaningless. Their comics meaningless. And boom, you got your miniseries, your inclusive and diverse miniseries. Now we've got the optics of you off you, fuck. And we'll get the next person in. We'll get the next inclusive and diverse. And that even builds even more resentment and bitterness. And then you get them turning on themselves. Hey, just bring back the meritocracy. Just hire people on talent. Meritocracy is fair. Because the meritocracy doesn't give a shit what color you are, what race you are, what gender you are, what nationality you are, what sexuality you are. Meritocracy is based on your fucking skill of your work.
Yep.
And once upon a time, sales used to determine that. No longer. It's the superficial that does. Not what actually does take talent, which is writing, art, inking, etc.
Bingo. Putting it absolutely perfect. And by the way, guys, I'm going to get to these super chats here in a bit. We are going to talk after I run through these. We'll talk about what's going on with Daredevil. We'll read that bit like live. We're going to read it, and I'm excited for it. Excited to discuss it. But let's go ahead and go through some of these real quick, just speeding through them. GJJ, I appreciate that 7 months. Nazanik with a 5 says, "Hell, Ripper," and asks, "I want to ask if you know any good stories revolving brother and sister. Pretty
safe space and Snowflake."
Good luck finding it. But yeah, let's check and answer too. Brother and sister. I'm trying to think. I mean,
you could go Fantastic
Fantastic
Four.
Four. Yeah, I was just about to go there. That's a little easy there. I mean, kind of pick and choose. What was that? I mean, if you want something more modern, I'm trying to think. I mean, the closest that I mean, as far as when I was tapped in was because it was, I can't remember what the name of what Gotham Girls
yeah, Gotham Girl. I mean, that's a very limited story.
Yes, a limited one, but I mean,
It's
the character of Gotham
episodes,
Girl,
yeah.
at least Gotham Girl, kind of there's some element to it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of who else. Oh well, there's a bunch of someone brought up Scarlet Witch and the Quicksilver. I see a lot of people in the chat are bringing up some examples, so looks like they got you taken care of. But yeah, I mean, you can't beat the classics. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, Demon Slayer on the manga side.
Well, yeah, if you want to go on the manga side,
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, you can't beat the classics. You can't beat the
Orc
classics.
and Dove. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we have 5 from CJ says, "Hell, Ripper Hell asks, did you gentlemen get your workouts today?" I will after this for sure.
Did last night. I mean, I technically started at 12:30 to 1:30, but I will be going again tonight. Sore tits and all.
There you go. Yeah, I'll be going later today as well. We have Ryan with a 5 says, "Thanks for the dope hoodie, Eric. Got my sign. Number 1 ISO covers back yesterday from CGC, all 9.8. So, well, shout out to you. Good. Yeah, we try to take care of our books. It's very rare that you're gonna get anything less than that. Sometimes you will for sure, but we try to take care of them, man. They're all good prints. So yeah, shout out to you, man. We got Garfield's Bizarre Adventure with a 5 says, "I used to go to every MCU film multiple times because I was an invested fan. Disney lost me and many others as paying customers, diminished box office." Yeah, go watch my previous video if you haven't already. I kind of broke down the lack of enthusiasm that a lot of these major entertainment brands are having right now, and it's just showing in various ways, box office being one of those. So it's worth keeping an eye on for sure. Jose with a 2 says, "Megan Fitzmartin was a trash writer on Temp." Gotcha.
Yeah.
Leon's Law with a 5 says, "Y'all see Dr. Barron issued a statement on Twitter regarding lawsuit. Their attorneys are up." Yeah, it's a weird, I'm gonna be completely honest. The way that they're going about that, it's a little weird because there was no like communication directly to us. But look, as I've said before about this whole ordeal, and to quote the great, let's say, Ghost Inside, for those of you that are metalcore and hardcore fans, if it's a war you came to see, you will never see a waved white flag in front of me. So if that's the game that we're gonna play, then that's just a game that we're gonna play. Everybody obviously on our side feels very good about whatever may come of this, and I have more of a more formal, let's say that, kind of announcement pertaining to that. But yeah, it is some let's say weird stuff going on. But that's look, when you get to this level, this is something that we all knew, and this is something that for you guys that aspire to be creatives, there is going to be no shortage of this as you grow, right? This is why you can name these. It's funny, we're just talking about all these entertainment brands. Like almost every day of the week, they're dealing with some sort of legal whatever, because the way the legal system is set up, you can literally sue someone for fucking anything. It doesn't matter, like if it's true, it doesn't matter, make it thrown out. But as far as you can sue anybody for anything, and people are very kind of loose with it. So yeah, with that being said, we're gonna be good to go. We're gonna be good to go, and yeah, we've seen that. But I have something more formal to say, kind of on that note, a little later. Aid Robertson with a 5 says, "Hell, ripping an ass, loving this." Shout out to you, appreciate that. We got 5 gifted subs from Stitch. Appreciate that. That's not cheap. All the new members, welcome. As Wonky Eyebrow with a 2 says, "Weekly stream with those 2 fellas. What say you?" Look, look, if y'all, I know y'all enjoy this. You know, it's funny. It definitely has. You know, he's streaming all the fucking time, right? So for me, it's more of what his schedule looks like. But I love doing this. This is him and I hand in glove fit, just because, you know, not only of just having the given perspective it is that we have, but you know, it's just with our love for comics and all that, it just makes for, I know, a great view for you guys. So I love to do it as much as I realistically can with them. It doesn't matter on what channel, you know. I love this shit. So, you know, but Az is doing a million different fucking things, and he's streaming like fucking every day. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Okay, we have Patricio with a 38 months, says love the team up. Appreciate that. That's a long fucking time. We got Fantastic Mr. Knox with a Australian 5, says, well, idiots co-op existing characters and send a message is crap. When they make their own characters, is worse than crap. It's why people move away. Well, again, the only time, and we brought this up earlier, the only time that people will give them the time of day is if they are able to funnel this shit through some characters that are recognizable, or brand that is recognizable. That's the only way that people would give it a time, give it the time of day. So yeah. We have Neo Nimbus with a 10, says, dude, I'm so excited for the future of the Riververse. I got my brothers into comics now, and we are all hyped for Alpha Core. Let's fucking go. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that 10 as well. And Alpha Core, man, it's gonna be a great book. You guys are gonna enjoy that thoroughly, and we got some very special things that'll be you know, coming out with it, man. So great Chuck Dixon, Joe Bennett, you can't really go wrong. But there's a lot of stuff we got planned with the Riververse.
Do we have a date?
So we're getting close. I think that we could do it within the next month. That's what we're pushing for. Like, so it's right around the corner. I think within the next month, I think is realistically what we're going to be able to do. We pushing like hell for an October release. Maybe at the latest, maybe early November, all things considered. But the book has been sent to print. So we'll have those. It's just that I want to launch with the books in hand first. So that way we can kind of get fulfillment started like ASAP. So that's kind of our plan. But yeah, within the next month, I think is what we'll do. And we'll have a little special thing planned for you once we're feeling good about the date. We got some things that we'll release, man. I think that people are going to be, to get you guys amped back up for another. Oh,
campaign. Stop licking my taint.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be something special.
By the way, fulfillment's been fun. I've been in the UK. Fulfillment's been amazing. It really has.
Hell yeah, appreciate
it. And the quality that it comes in as well. You know, I'm not opening up and going, oh god, I hope the corners aren't busted or anything. No. These are, you know, beautifully fucking packaged, and so
hell yeah,
really impressed with that.
Hell yeah, appreciate you. DS with a 5 says, bro, in the manga Bleach, this trans cross dresser incel, techno Nazi third tier villain, a henchman. Just imagine that in a Western comic. They're able to take a little more risk over there for sure. James with a 5 says the upcoming Alan Scott series will have us believe Alan joined the JSA to keep his homosexuality. Really, are they doing that? Homosexuality a secret because of the FBI was going to out him like that.
Sorry, the FBI was going to out the superhero Green Lantern as a homosexual man.
Oh my god, man. That doesn't at all surprise me.
It's just, look,
fucking
intersectionality knows no area where you can't victimize something. It really doesn't.
They'll figure it out.
Remember when Alan Scott was just a Green Lantern?
That's a Green Lantern.
The
Green Lantern. He was the definitive Green Lantern. And then he wasn't, or then he's gay. So
no, it's gay.
No, he's just gay. It's the only thing that.
Now he clicks men on Pornhub.
Yes. Oh man, that's sad. Turn to Black to 14 months. Says, I wonder if the potential board changes will be the start of changes we need in mainstream comics, still rocking with the RBC. Nevertheless, well, I mean, look, there's a lot of things that could could make this like make this happen, right? Like it's just like what's the likelihood? They're so deep into this shit, you know what I mean? Like, and it runs like everybody's a part of it. You got the leadership on up and down that are all in on this kind of collective ideological bullshit. It's
and even if they're not, they have to pretend.
Well, that's true, right? That is. Otherwise, they get axed, right? So it's such a pipe dream of like I said, the best case scenario would be they run a bitch into the ground, and someone at some point has enough money to get the property away that actually cares about the like product, like not just as an IP form, cares about the product, and now they have it right in full control, and then as like part of the agreement, they literally can fucking everybody once there's a transfer of ownership. That's probably the only way this thing gets fucking turned around. But under its current setup, mega corporate setup, it doesn't encourage that. In fact, it encourages the complete opposite. So the Vigilant 42 months, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We have, where are we at? Okay. We got Joseph the Gamer with a 5 says, hi, Eric. And as I would like to know some good or bad Teen Titans.
Well, Do you want good Teen Titans? You want Wolfman and Perez? Well, you want to get that 80s run of Wolfman and Perez Teen Titans is just spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Introduction of Deathstroke as a character, Judas Contract, the literally development of Dick Grayson from Robin to Nightwing, the relationship building between him and Starfire. As Eric said, it's the definitive. And I would never recommend bad Teen Titans to you. So Wolfman and Perez pick it up, trade paperback, but get the original stuff.
Yeah, get the original stuff for sure. Jose with a 2 said, have you seen Drinker on Disney Star Wars? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you're referring to. I've never seen him on Disney Star Wars. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Best name I can think of with a 5 says, what are the chances of peeping Tom cameo for the book? Maybe we make something like that happen.
Staring at Yara's tits. That'd be great.
Yeah. Maybe we make something like that happen. Shad with a 2 says, my favorite villain is Regis from Megas XLR. So Shad with a 2. Appreciate that. And we have Harrison with a 10 says, you as neurotic EVS comics creator roundtable. What it is that
I'm gonna press X to doubt.
Yeah.
On the personal level.
Yeah. But we got Gary here tomorrow. So I mean maybe that's our rock. But yeah, with all 3 of us, perhaps we'll make something like that happen. Okay, I want to get into this because this was kind of, I don't want to say breaking, but this happened right prior to let me share my screen really quick. Okay, where am I at? There we go. Okay. Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business.
I got a better headline. Marvel throws out the garbage fire that was the first 9 episodes made of Daredevil and needs to go back to the drawing board.
We're going to read through this as indicative in this caption here. Launched during the pandemic with a playbook to shoot 150 million plus this is dollars plus seasons with no pilots. The Disney unit is undergoing growing pains and seeing the logic of traditional TV culture. So let's see. This is being reported by the Hollywood Reporter. This is Boris Kitt.
I bet it is.
We have this is what they say. He said it didn't take long to see the problem. After Marvel Studios' Daredevil Born Again paused production in mid-June during the writer's strike, fewer than half of the series 18 episodes have been shot. So there you have that. So there were some episodes shot, but it was enough for Marvel executives, including Kevin Feige, to review the footage and come away with a clear-eyed assessment. The show wasn't working. So the reason why I think that's very important to acknowledge is because we know the piles of shit as of recently that this company has had no problem putting out. So even with all that being said, they viewed what it is that was submitted to them or what was available to them, and even they were like, "It's that fucking bad. We can't put this shit out. We can't fucking put it out."
With Daredevil,
which is one of, to give everybody context, as far as a Marvel property, yes, through Netflix, was one of the more, let's say, positive in terms of its reception. Okay. So they're going in with a lot of Charlie Cox. You got the Daredevil that people are seeing. They're bringing him back. Didn't get off to the greatest of starts in She-Hulk there. But despite all of that, with this character, they had enough. And they said, look, they got fewer than half of the series episodes that had already been shot. And this is the same company that put out Miss Marvel. They put out She-Hulk, right? They put it out. And it dog shit as it may be, according to viewership. Let's say that. They said, nah. On this, they said absolutely not. So in late September, Marvel quietly let go of its head writers, Chris Ord and Matt Corman, and also released the directors for the remainder of the season as part of a significant creative reboot. So the head writers are gone. All the fucking directors are gone. The Hollywood Reporter has learned, that's again what it is they said, the studio is now on the hunt for new writers and directors for the project, which stars Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, blind lawyer turned superhero. Okay.
This is what we'd call in the comic book industry pencils down.
So they got rid of everybody. They fucking said, you're all gone. Like, we've seen enough. Get the fuck out of here. Which is impressive, man. Because again, I think that's why the context matters. Because Marvel's Disney has had no issues in the TV, let's say, market, putting out things that was not that well received. And I feel like anybody with a decent eye would have understood that this is not going to work. So it had to have been especially bad if they're like, you know what? You're all fucking gone. And it ain't just the writers. We're getting rid of the directors too. I'm kidding. Like, all you motherfuckers, get out of my face. Like they said, and we start from scratch. Fuck them episodes. We're starting from scratch, and let's give it. Let's try to get us a shot. This tells me that it was an absolute fucking disaster. Yes. Whatever those under 9 episodes were that they filmed, it was not working, and it was especially bad because you got to consider they'll put out bad material. They have no problem. They have no problem doing that, but especially bad material. It must have been fucking horrendous. They go in the article, they give a little more context here, but ultimately this is them trying to cope with, hey, TV looks a little different now. You've introduced the streaming element, all this other shit that they're trying to say, basically, hey, trying to justify the change without really saying this shit's fucking terrible. And we don't want anything to do with it. What the fuck do you think's going on? As far as Disney, Marvel's, whatever the fuck it is that they're doing here with this damn character, and really the MCU in general.
It actually brings a tear to my eye, this article, in a good way, because it's kind of got to the point clearly where they themselves are just like, what the fuck are we doing? Just what the fuck are we doing? How do you get to 9 odd episodes, let's say 8 episodes, before you realize that who the fuck working. Is quality control here? This is why on television you have a pilot. This is why you make a pilot episode, because you put together ideas that you have
Yep.
And then you put it out there, and then the studios, if it doesn't go out onto TV, the studios will come back and they'll say, okay, we're gonna order a half season with the potential to make it a full season.
Yep.
But we need you to take out certain elements. So let's say on the pilot episode, you had some nudity in it and you had some swearing in it. They'd be like, okay, we like where this is going, but we need you to take out the nudity and we need to take out the swearing because we actually want to pitch this as let's say an 8 o'clock slot show.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll go, okay, yeah. So, and that won't be an issue because they're throwing things in, nudity and swearing is just an easy example for us all to relate to. So they throw things in like that with the potential feedback of it gets knocked out, it gets taken out. Plenty of shows have done that. Homeland did that. The original pilot had nudity, then that was gone. Caprica, when the pilot for Caprica came out, that actually had nudity in it, then that was gone. So they play around with these things, understanding that they can get cut, whether or not they want a more mature show or not. This is not how Disney operate. Disney, to coin Gary, I'm going to steal something from Gary from Nerdrotic here. They cast their directors because they don't really have the autonomy that a proper director should. And then they just throw shit. They just throw their shit out there. Echo is being dumped all at once in January.
Fucking forgot, man.
Yeah. Because Eric, for all the shit, a lot of it's already made. A lot of it is already done. Harkness, done. Reshot all over the place. Ironheart, finished. Been finished for nearly a year. But that's now been dumped to the back of 2025. That will never see the light of day.
What about the Agatha thing? Is that like...
That's done. I mean, that's it's changing its name every 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, they are changing.
Reshot to the eyeballs because that's what they do. They throw shit at a wall and then go, this makes no fucking sense. We'll reshoot that. We'll reshoot that. We'll take that out. And then we'll just throw it onto Disney Plus because it's fucking afterbirth. Sorry, an afterthought. But Echo is meant to be 6 episodes. But now it's meant to be 5 episodes. Do you know which episode I'm willing to put a lot of money has been removed if it is going to come out in 5 episodes and not 6? The Daredevil one. That's the one I think is gone. If it comes out in 5, I think Daredevil's going to be taken out of that show. Probably Kingpin as well, if he's all in the same episode. This, to me, at least shows one massive positive. And the massive positive to me is that at least they see value in Daredevil and they realize that this will fucking kill it. So there is some self-awareness.
I mean, I guess I mean, we'd have to give them credit. And I mean, I guess essentially, is it their one remaining property that maybe people would give the time of day?
Well, you could, right. One thing that Daredevil has that the other stuff doesn't have is a direct comparison. Is the Netflix show. It has a direct comparison and it has a quality show. I loved all 3 series of Daredevil myself. I know some people have a bit of an issue with series 3. I didn't. I loved it. I thought Defenders was dog shit, but I did love my 3 seasons of Daredevil. So there is a direct comparison here. But the big problem is the fundamental issue that Marvel have with the production of the content, because there is no oversight. How is Kevin Feige just viewing the footage when there's 8 fucking episodes? I'm not saying micromanage it to death, but if you're going to be the showrunner, if you're going to be or take over the showrunner role,
right,
which Kevin Feige is doing for the whole property, then you got to know what the fuck is going on. How much money's been wasted here? 100 million down the shitter?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, that money that they gave everybody that's a part of that project, you want to talk about the issues that they've had financially. I mean, that kind of it goes there. I mean, I know it does say they may use some of the footage, but I think there's going to be some very significant reshoots and all that good stuff. Yeah, considering that they're canning absolutely fucking everybody that was a major mover in this project, which, a little unprecedented. I mean, they try to, in the article, if you want to go read it, it's about how the reporter, you guys can check it out. They kind of try to, in the article, and say, well, this is kind of just what's happening right now, to just soften the blow. But I think anybody that has a half a brain can kind of understand that this is not in the best of spots here with Daredevil, and that was kind of, I don't want to say unprecedented, but it was it had to be bad. That's my point. It had to be exceptionally bad.
We had all the signs. The signs were given to us. Charlie Cox, in interviews, like I said, he was trying the nicest way possible to say that this is probably a lot of shit. We saw what they did to him in Daredevil. They fucking killed him. They fucking butchered him in Daredevil for what?
Mm-hmm.
To get over a dog shit character in a dog shit show because it ideologically was what you're going for now. Hey, look, she's funny, she's liberated. She breaks the fourth wall. No, she's an alcoholic whore who fucked 3 different guys in 4 episodes.
Yeah, she was.
And then turns to the camera. He's fucking drunk during the day half the fucking time because she's fucking raging alcoholic. This was not the character to put out there. This certainly wasn't anything John Byrne fucking related by any stretch.
Well, that's not even close.
And these are bigger characters. Agatha, who gives a fuck? Echo, who gives
it's not even fuck? Agatha. I mean, you think about who those characters are. More
Disney
well,
Agatha.
Disney's Agatha, right? Like, it's not fucking, that's not babysitting fucking Agatha. I don't know who the hell that was. That was only Agatha in name in the first place. I'm calling ageism. That's what I'm gonna call it. Ageism on Marvel for not using the Agatha as part of what her introduction was in that Scarlet Witch show.
Yeah.
There. But so yeah, I'm calling ageism on them. They made her far younger and completely detached from my knowledge, the Fantastic Four. Doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever, but that does anything make sense, to be fair?
No, because I mean, am I wrong? I'm going to make an assumption here, and I know they make asses out of you and me and all that, but I'm going to make an assumption here. Isn't the purpose to have a streaming service is to put content on the streaming service that's going to get people to subscribe to the streaming service? Or am I fucking crazy?
I think I would like to think that's the rational
I would think so.
Yeah.
So what happens when you literally defecate onto your streaming service and call it content?
It doesn't bode well for that.
No, it doesn't bode well, does it? What happens when I go out to an electronics store because I want a new phone? I want to get rid of my fucking Apple shit because fuck Apple. And I want to buy a new phone. And it says to me in big fucking letters, if you buy this phone, we're going to give you 12 months of Disney Plus for free because no one's buying this shit. What happens when you have to use your streaming service to move money so your streaming service gets put billions of dollars into debt so that you can turn around and go, well, Thor Love and Thunder made a little profit because we paid ourselves $160 million for the rights to show our own fucking show.
That's literal money laundering, but
it is money laundering. You're moving, and who's being sued for this right now? Oh, Disney.
Yeah,
Disney. Who's in the absolute deepest of deep shits? And which CEO named Bobby Iger said that Disney Plus was going to be in profit by 2024?
It's not even close. It's not happening.
Not even a hope in hell. Maybe. I don't think this is actually the case. I'll be honest with you. I don't think this is actually the case. But maybe somebody said, do you know what? Maybe if we actually put something of quality on the streaming service, people might subscribe instead of us giving it away for free and it losing billions of dollars.
It's remarkable. Like, and by billions, that's not an exaggeration.
Not an exaggeration, no.
They're literally losing billions. I mean, that's a big number to conceptualize there, but they're literally losing billions on the streaming services there. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn that around at all. They did bank on streaming services being something that I guess people kind of were falling over themselves to sign up for. And I remember, look, even when the whole Disney Plus thing was announced, I said, okay, well, this is a way for them to maybe go about this and bring some characters in that maybe they're not ready for TV, right? I mean, excuse me, for movie, like that just maybe it doesn't make sense. And it's like everything that they said. Well, let me say this: all logic in utilizing a streaming service to make your company profitable, as well as to grow this fucking universe. Every advantage, let's say, that they had, they didn't utilize, right? At all, right? It was, they just said, fuck it. Like we're not gonna even really try. And I guess they thought that people would just go support it just to fucking do it. And they found out it doesn't have the draw that it actually has. Because while you may have a little more leeway to use more obscure characters, it's like, think about all the people that you're skipping the line with. Like, I've made this fucking point 5,000 fucking times. I've probably made it on FNT another 4,000, right? In which, look, don't just look at it from the angle that, they're producing content that they're putting out, be it movies, especially TV shows, on characters nobody fucking asked for. Think about the ones that they're skipping over. I think it's far more important. The fact that, and I've made this point a million times, you get Fox, right? That's what everybody was fucking waiting for, right? You get Fox. You had some very prominent characters that you just did not have access to. They got Fox. Ask, what the fuck have they done since then?
They haven't done a Fantastic Four film. They haven't done an X-Men, anything with the X-Men whatsoever, which is the first family of Marvel and the most popular franchise in Marvel's history. But we are getting Agatha and Echo
and
Ironheart.
Yeah. Oh, Thunderbolts too. Throw that in there. I almost forgot about that. I don't know if this Blade shit's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's good. Okay. Yeah.
So all those all those characters, and that's what I thought. That's what I was trying to explain to people. Like, don't just look at it from there's these characters nobody asked for, right? And I remember when they announced it, Miss Marvel, right? Fucking Agatha, Ironheart, Echo, and I'm like, who the fuck are asking for these characters? But you got Fox. So this is me. If I'm Feige, right? I'm the one calling the shots. I don't give a fuck what I gotta move around, right? Once we done seen this shit through, it makes all the sense in the world. Okay, we got this Endgame thing, right? We got what we did with. I'm fast tracking. I don't give a fuck what we got to do. What has to move around. I'm fast tracking the X-Men and or the Fantastic Four. They're the next focus of the MCU. X-Men is obvious. It's just obvious, right? Yeah. I'm making it happen immediately. I don't give a fuck. We got the rights. What the fuck are we waiting on? But that's not even, we don't even know we know that this it's supposed to happen. What updates have we got? We didn't even got a fucking casting.
No.
We don't know what's going to happen with this.
We have had something about the Fantastic Four. And that is, it's likely to be Sue.
Oh yeah, that news we did.
It's like to be Sue Storm, who's going to be pushed as the main character for the Fantastic Four. Because I said a joke. It's not actually really a joke. At the beginning of the stream about Director X being blackity black. Marvel is whammity wham. That's what they are. It's just got to be all female-centric, or all complete and utterly female-centric, female-driven Star Wars, superheroes now. Phase 4 was just literally a whammening. They should have just called it the whammening. No, not the multiverse, the whammening. That's what that was. That's all they are. And that's why we've got Agatha Harkness, Echo, and fucking Ironheart. Yeah. That's why we had Black Widow, the Eternals, where you could completely change leadership roles in the Eternals, race change characters, gender change characters.
It was those were only the characters in name, and that's about fucking
Shang-Chi wasn't even the fucking hero in his own film. It was his sister. and being dragged around by Aqua fucking Fina. It's just been an absolute joke. Phase 4 from start to finish. Even in Doctor Strange, is he going to get his woman? Oh no, she's getting married off, mate. You're getting nobody. You're getting none of that heterosexual shit. Fuck off, mate. Learn to suck a dick. Get with the fucking program. Because it's current day Marvel, and that's where we go now. That's homophobic. No, it's not. It's a fucking fact. That's what they just do with characters. We've seen it from Tim Drake, from fucking Connor Kent, but from Connor Kent, Jonathan Kent, from the attempt by Connor Kent, to fucking Bobby, in Iceman. Yeah. This is where we fucking are. It's just been intersectional shit. Stop it.
Yeah.
Again, do you think we're gonna get a masculine fucking hero in Disney Marvel? Oh, we fuck.
Dude, I already I put out a old video, right? Old video. Y'all can go watch it. It's out there. I put a bet out there. I was like, let's be very fucking clear, right? You're out of your fucking mind. If this company lasts long enough to put out fucking Fantastic Four, you're out of your fucking mind.
I don't think we're gonna live long enough, Eric. We're gonna be 6 feet under.
But you're out of your minds. Though if should in this fantasy land that this shit arrives, or we're all here at Disney still a functioning company, right? And they're the ones putting this shit out, that you're gonna get a straight white family, you're out of your functional straight white family, you're out of your fucking minds. It's not happening. My guess, Johnny, it's the obvious thing. Flaming homosexual, probably bringing, and that'll be your introduction to X-Men. He'll shack up with Iceman, and that'll be it.
Fire and Ice, baby.
Fire and Ice, baby. Fire and Ice,
yeah.
right? Fire and Ice. I gave them that idea. You can't say, oh, you're giving them ideas. I gave them that idea like fucking years ago at Sirius trying to talk to me. I gave them that idea years ago. That is the likely situation. You're not getting, in current day, you're not getting a functional, straight, white family. Dysfunctional maybe, but you're not getting a functional, competent, straight white family in current day Marvel. It's not fucking happening. So once you do get them, expect some swaps here and there, or expect flat out dysfunction, right? Just flat out dysfunction. If you think that Mr. Fantastic and Sue are going to be a loving, caring for each, it's just fucking happening. No, it's not happening.
He'll be chasing her. He'll be subservient to her. She will dominate the relationship if there is a relationship.
True.
I'm not even convinced that they will put them in together.
That's true.
I think there's more chance of her fucking a brother than there is Reed Richards right now in current Marvel.
Oh shit! It'd be par for the course. That's far more realistic. Let's just say that.
The thing's gonna be fucking non-binary.
Something,
you know.
The thing. I mean, it's a layup. The thing, right? You know what I mean? We'll get all gaslit to fucking death, and they'll say he was always that way. It was a trans allegory.
Yes,
that's what they'll tell us. It was a trans allegory.
It's always a trans allegory.
Yeah, it was. And
Shakespeare's work is a trans allegory. You know, Beowulf is a trans allegory. Really, it's just funny. It's as if you're always looking for it, you'll always find it.
Yeah, true. In any given
weird.
story,
bizarre.
In any given story, it'll be that way, and that's the unfortunate thing about just current day. But have you got a chance to? By the way, before I get back in these super chats, have you got a chance to? Because what came out? Loki.
Loki season 2 episode 1 came out. Came out my ass. No, it was nothing, but it was just nah.
Yeah,
it's great cast. I like Owen Wilson. I like Tom Hiddleston. I like Short Round from Temple of Doom. But it just kind of washed over me. I didn't find it offensive. I didn't find it enjoyable. It just happened. I have been reliably informed by somebody who's seen the first 4 episodes that I better get used to that because nothing happens in the next 3 episodes until right at the end of the 4th episode where something happens and there's only 6 episodes. So, but the viewership is looking like it's down from season 1 by about 50%.
Jesus,
and Loki was the one that performed the best by a lot.
Wow. So where does that
So,
rank with, man, fucking Disney, man? They're fucking.
it's on the same level as something like Secret Invasion, I think.
Fuck, man.
But,
Was
yeah,
Ahsoka worse than Secret Invasion?
It's same
Well,
there,
about
but
same,
they're thereabouts. Yeah, a little bit lower. But Ahsoka had a lot more social media buzz about it, but it didn't translate into viewership.
Imagine that. So I was like, all that shit doesn't matter. It's like doesn't translate to viewership, doesn't translate to sales and comic books.
I know, but the next time the views drop, it's going to be episode 5, which was the Anakin burger. So there's probably a good chance it's going to go up for that. But after that, I know it's amazing. It's amazing that when you push your product to a group of people who are terminally social on social media, who don't actually buy your product, but are happy to go to war for you and to get clicks and interaction. And yet when somebody like, I don't know, let's just take Yellow Flash, an example, says to them something along the lines of, show me your long boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, well, actually, I buy the digital
I've
stuff.
I've got a lot of blood.
Show me your Comicsology library. Well,
Marvel
actually,
Unlimited
I
DC
just
Universe.
steal them. Yeah, I just steal from on. Yeah. So they don't contribute any money towards this. Whereas I will openly be mocked, and I don't mind it, by the way. I think it's quite funny. I'll openly be mocked by people like putting a sign there going children's toys and stuff, and it's just like, wait a minute. You're the people who are trying to defend the franchise, defend the brand, whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, and you're saying children's toys on somebody who actually invested money in said franchises because you're just a poser. It's all just posers. What do you expect? Star Wars toys are rotting on the shelf now. Nobody wants them. Doctor Who's dead. Nobody cares about it. Star Trek's dead. Nobody cares about it. They've all been systematically destroyed to cater to people for an ideology who are broke, who live on welfare, who fucking have their hand out begging for GoFundMes because their talent apparently can't get them fucking paid. And these are the people who you've catered for. But they'll send you a nice tweet defending your product, and that's worth its weight in fresh air. So what do you expect? They've alienated all the people that actually spend the money on the fucking things.
True. Facts. That's a fact of a matter, man. I mean, of the matter is that you have the people that have the capital and disposable income to actually buy the product, and those are the people that they have treated with the most just utter contempt. That's just what it is. They don't like us, but they are chasing people that, to your point, I'm actually doing a video. That's one of my next my making money in comics deals, where I talk about like people catering to folks that have no problem stealing your shit. Like they're not that intrigued by it, right? They're only fans in the event that they can signal about it, and so it's not a fan; it's a fan in quotation. Make
it about me.
Yes, exactly.
Generation narcissism.
And then all of a sudden they're the greatest of the fans because of something they Wikipedia real quick, or they just flat out stole the shit. So they're not actually, and that's not really interest, right? Like that's not genuine interest. Genuine interest would be someone like, okay, I want to see this. I'm going to reach in my pocket and I'm going to fucking buy. That's the genuine interest. And they're not chasing that. They're chasing people that aren't. I mean, yeah, maybe y'all agree on fucking social issues and shit. I mean, congratulations, but that's not currency, bro. Like, I guess in y'all in their sphere, it is kind of currency, but like, when it comes to the bottom line, like, you can't eat retweets.
No,
like, you know what I mean?
You can't eat Glad Awards.
Yeah, exactly. Or Eisner's for that matter.
Or Eisner's, or whatever it may be now, whatever fucking piece of plastic they put in your hand and pat you on the back and say, job well done. You ideologied. Well done. How much bread does this buy me? Ooh, none. How many meals do I get out of this? Gonna say none.
don't get shit.
But like when you said earlier, you said, you know, I don't give a fuck what my peers say. If my customers are buying it and they're loving it, of course, because your customers put food on your table, they put a roof over your head, they put employees in the warehouse.
Absolutely.
They hire writers, they hire artists. That's what you fucking. That's why they'll always be. That's why when I talked about earlier with directors. That's why I don't give a fuck about city news, fucking Toronto. Look out of here. No, I give a shit about talking to people who actually give a toss about this stuff. I give a shit about talking to people who are invested in the franchises that we love, the characters that we love, the hobbies that we love, and we're all unashamedly so. So yes, that's if I was to put a product out, I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't even give a fuck if you, Gary, and Jeremy said, I know you might have sold quite a bit, but I don't think. But I know you wouldn't, obviously. But I wouldn't care. I'd be like, well, my audience are liking it. My audience are liking it, so that's what I'm going with because
that's what you should.
The money's talking.
Yep.
The money's talking. It's a symbiotic relationship. Sure, they're paying you. Sure, you get money, but they're getting a product at the end of the day that they're happy with, whether it be a toy or a video game or a comic or a TV show that they can go, I'm happy. I spent 10 quid on that or 20 quid on that, or whatever it may be.
Literally. I mean, and that seems the obvious approach. I mean, anybody with any sort of economic literacy, they would understand that, but they don't, because these are people that are above all else is ideology, above all else is social preferences, and that's defining them top to bottom. So this is why I say they start from there and they work backwards. Anything that they can do to justify that ultimate end game or goal or a position, political position or social position, whatever can validate that, they will do whatever they can to justify their actions, because they're not starting from a place of, I care about you as the reader, I care about you as the viewer, I care about you as I care about the character. That's not where they start. They start from, this shit is about me, and I need to use this as my vehicle to beat the audience over the head with what I need them to validate. And oftentimes it's just them trying to validate themselves. That's all. If you read she's telling herself with the Mags and Sajah thing. If you read through it, it's just pure, utter fucking narcissism. It's just, that's all that it is. It is all about what they believe. And they're trying to use this character as a vehicle to validate them fucking selves. That's it. That's all that it is. It reads like that, top to bottom. You don't have to take my word for anything.
And the sad thing, the legit sad thing, not necessarily Max, because I think they're a vile human being. But the sad thing is they do things like this because they can't accept themselves. That's the problem when you have this ideological element that they're bringing in. They can't accept themselves, so they have to insert it into everything because they're desperate for whatever they've created, which is a self-insert, of course, to be accepted. And then they see the acceptance of that character in themselves. That's the hope, or some part of the hope. However, they get constantly rejected because that's not what an audience is looking for. Create your own shit. Put it out there. Good luck to you. Nobody's stopping you. But people aren't wanting you to do that with established characters. And I think one of the ground zeros was Dan Slott. The day that Dan Slott told that person on Twitter to fuck off, go fuck themselves, was the day that he should have been brought into the office and fired immediately.
Yeah.
But because it was then accepted and praised in media, in the industry itself, and also in the mainstream media surrounding it, empowered and embodied the bad behavior which we see that has existed on from years and years. And when you show that something is acceptable, whether it be as something as innocuous as telling somebody to fuck off, all the way to dragging somebody out to the street and doing something to them to unalive them, you are giving the validation that is acceptable behavior. And the comic industry showed a dozen years ago, that it was acceptable behavior in the mainstream Marvel, particularly to start with, and then DC, tell your customers to fuck off. And the customers, forget us. We're just vocal people. The actual silent majority took their advice. I went, oh, you want to tell me to fuck off? Okay, I will. And they did. Yeah. And it becomes a systematic destruction of your industry, because it's not you or I that they should ever particularly be worried about, even though we're living rent free in most of their heads.
True that.
And when I say, and I mean the Eric July away from the Ripperverse, Eric July. It's the silent majority that walk away, because that doesn't just happen overnight. That's happened due to behavior, quality, all of it combined. Jeez.
I mean, you put it there perfectly. And it's been, look, if I, of all people, and people that have kept up with me over the years, if I, of all people, when look my, local comic book shop owner in the fucking eyes, and I said, whatever's on my fucking pull list, take it off. If I did that, that lets you know how bad it got. Like straight up. It had to get bad for it to get there, because even through a lot of shit every Wednesday I was there. Wanted to be in the know. Even if I felt it was a chore, I wanted to be in the know. But I sat and walked away from that. And that in itself to me says, I'm not saying that it moves to my beat. No, it's actually the opposite. It's more, it had to get extremely bad, especially bad, for me to be like, you know what? No. So there's other folks that are as diehard as I am that have done the same thing. And really the only thing giving them any sort of fulfillment is back issues. It's not modern. It's not the modern entertainment. And I think everybody should have been paying attention to that. When you saw, I mean, don't take my word for nothing. Just go look at the math, man. When you look at the sales when they were available, you can go to Comic-Con right now, and not only comparison to decades prior, but it makes no fucking sense why unit sales were either stagnant or going down year to year, despite superheroes, because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because of DC's extended universe, being as popular as they had ever been. It had almost zero fucking impact on the books, which to me tells me that you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because this should have been another, we should have been entering into another boom, if anything. But
One Piece. Manga sales in One Piece have increased due to the Netflix show.
Which is amazing considering how high they already were.
Exactly.
Right. So that's what should happen. That's the natural occurrence, is that you're supposed to get a fucking boost from that, because now the normie appeal is there. So you should get a boost. They got fucking nothing. They got nothing. They got absolutely fucking nothing. They put these people that had no business being in these positions on the pedestal, and allow them to run this bitch into the fucking ground. That's just really what happened. It just allowed them to say, you know what, do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares? And they're going to be feeling it for a while. And again, I think, especially with the creatives, when I saw that whole hashtag comics broke me shit, that was something to see. Right. And I'm sitting here looking at like these guys, like, I thought comics were great. That's what y'all told me. Even when we said there's something's fucking wrong and this is a bubble about to pop. They were gaslighting us, acting like we were crazy as shit. And they say comics have never been fucking better.
Oh,
the best it's ever been. Right? It's thriving. Thriving, man. Anybody with fucking, again, a quarter of a brain could say, no, this is going the wrong fucking direction. And again, context matters. You were sitting in it was an era which should have, you had to set up in a way that makes no sense, where you got literal billion-dollar films and no boom in the comic book industry. None whatsoever. So some had to go wrong. And I think a lot of it starts with half of these characters aren't recognizable, because really, I mean, let's be honest, definitely towards the latter half of that previous phase, it was more of a sandbox for directors and writers And that was about it. Like I don't for once believe half these motherfuckers like, yeah, man, I actually picked up fucking couple comic books, and I really understand this character. It was more, no, this character will be who I need this character to be. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. Like, whoever the character I need him to be, I tell you what, I'll make them look somewhat like what they may look like in some particular comic. But that's about it. They're not going to act like that character. They're going to act like how I need them to act for the sake of this storyline that it is that I want to tell. And that's the thing that I explain. I'll get back to the super chats in a minute, but this is the thing that, you know, I had been explaining to people, is that, especially folks that are comic book lifers, y'all need to understand, this is the reality, is harsh. You should have held the line when these motherfuckers infiltrated your industry. Because you need to understand, you're going to be the ones that have to pick up the fucking ashes or try to build from them, because they will move on to the next fucking thing. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's fucking Westerns. I'm just throwing something out there. They'll move to that, right? Like the fucking parasites that they are, because that'll be the end thing, and they'll run that bitch into the ground. But you're the ones that are going to be left to deal with it. And I don't think for all that it was worth a couple of fucking headlines or to be acknowledged by people, you know what I mean? Hollywood giving you some fucking time of day now. I don't think it was worth all that shit. I don't think it was worth trying to get your script to be adapted in a fucking comic book show or a movie, which is, that's kind of how they write them, right? I don't think it was worth all that to be left with those guys saying, okay, we did everything we needed to do. We done fucked this to hell. We're moving on to the next thing. And we'll run that bitch into the ground. You're the ones that are going to be left to try to salvage this shit. You know what I mean? And that's just, it's a reality nonetheless, but it's harsh, and it's necessary that you understand that you had a chance. It's cool. Look, you get new people into it, but you needed to make sure they were into it for being into it, not into it because, oh, it's the hot commodity. And now this is mine now, right? This is about me, and I'm going to make it about fucking me. It wasn't worth it. It just never was worth it.
Just a question though for you, Eric. Are you looking forward to the marriage of Mrs. and Mr. Frost?
Oh, yeah, that's gonna go
so very well. Just serious for a sec. By the way, folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Tony Stark,
and this is a true story.
This is a true. I know this is gonna sound like I'm taking the piss. But I'm not. Tony Stark is going to marry Frosty Woman. And it's not going to be Mr. and Mrs. Stark. It's going to be Mrs. and Mr. Frost. Tony Stark. The whole reason why there is a Marvel Cinematic Universe for a start. And tell me, Eric, now this is now the serious bit. Tell me that hasn't been done to, number one, gain headlines, and number two, piss off people.
I mean, remember what I said earlier, spite. What other reason outside of that?
I look, if I go down the aisle with somebody, you've already gone down the aisle. No matter how much I love that woman, I'm not taking a name. You know, if she wants to become, you know, Mrs. as Smith, whatever.
Hyphen.
Okay, whatever, you do you. But it's an industry that hates its audience because it hired people that hate the customers, hate the characters, and are only self-serving. And when you do go out of business, none of you, I know you will, but not one of you ever gets the opportunity to say, how did this happen? Because you have been pumping round after fucking round after fucking round in your head, just self-inflicted gunshot wounds. And now you're just an animated corpse right now. But eventually that's just going to topple over and that'll be it. It'll be game over. Tony Stark. Tony fucking Stark.
Spite, bro. Like that's the only way I can define it. Is
really hate your audience. Really hate them.
Yeah, you have to. It's contempt. Like it's like you don't like them, and you're doing it. And it's like edgelord shit, man. But it's not funny. You know what I mean? It's like what the fuck. And I mean, that was after already they had been fucking that character up in general, kind of in the books, with the
ever since
clone and all that weird
Civil
shit.
War II, is it?
Yeah. It was they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, man. And again, that's what happens when you bring in people that don't really have any love or care for the actual product, man. All right, let me get through them through this. Jose with a 5 says, my bad, I meant Critical Drinkers video critiquing on Disney, Star Wars, and other movies or shows that. Oh yeah, well, I mean, we're all familiar with Critical.
Drink is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done shows with them, various ways, as far as like, F&T's been, I've been on the open bar a million times. So yeah, he's been good people's, man. So yeah, most definitely we're very familiar with all of his material. Best name I can think of with a 5 says, as showed his story telling skill when he rewrote Indiana Jones and Dollar Destiny. Dentistry.
Dentistry.
Any interest in ass writing a comic? Oh man, I'll make it happen if you want to.
I'll say this. I'm working on something.
There you go. Heard it here first or second.
No, I think that's the first time. I'm not putting any time scale on because it's just something I have discussed this with somebody, just somebody to run my ideas past.
Yeah.
It's just something I'm sort of doing in my spare. If I get a little bit of spare time, sort of putting a few things together, and we'll see what we get. I have been trying to buy an IP. And they've been resisting, and I'm going to keep trying with that.
Okay,
but there is an IP of a character I want to buy.
Okay, there you go. Okay, we have Graph Web with a 2 says, for fuck's sakes, hashtag cancel Disney Plus. We got a 20 from Inferno Star Gaming says, did you hear that Disney is being pressured to buy EA? No, I haven't seen anything about
it. I saw something. I don't know if it's pressured. I think they're looking for an avenue of revenue because
they need it bad.
It's performing so badly, and of course they have Lucasfilm over at Disney, and EA has the rights to the Star Wars games. So as publisher, so there's a sort of synergy there. But scum buying scum.
Eric D. June, my nemesis with a 5 says, it's your greatest nemesis I see. You're with ass, the worst bigot around. I will crush you both with my book, Beta Core. That's says it'll have lots of pronouns. Okay.
All
Eric
of them.
D. June, my nemesis. Make sure you have all the pronouns.
Cheers for the money.
Yeah. In it. Thank you, Eric D. June. Jose with a 10 says, it's like the creators did not read or know Daredevil. I can bet my paycheck they didn't read Frank Miller's Born Again. I wouldn't be surprised if they disrespected Catholics in the show. We'll treat them with spite. That's a layup.
Remember, it's now the norm not to touch the source material.
Yeah, true.
Whether it be a video game or a comic character, we're being told now that no, we actively told them not to read this so they could bring their own ideas. Their own ideas being the same old shit.
Yeah, that's a fact. Slack Attack with a 5 says, what I wouldn't make sure that's the right one. Yeah, it is. What I wouldn't give to see one of these movies before the reshoots. I love to see the rough draft of one of these Marvel catastrophes. Yeah, I mean, we said that. What was that, Batgirl?
I'd love to see that.
Fuck, man. I feel like it's got to get leaked in the next 5 years. Somebody's gonna say, "Fuck it." I got one of the few copies. Here, fuck it. And figure it out. I feel like that has to happen. We'll see though.
I hope so.
Larry with a 20
Oh,
says, "Made you look." Holy shit.
you for flinching.
Jesus Christ. Appreciate that 20. We got Steve for 4 months says, "Hell and long live the Rippaverse." And we got a bunch of the Rippaverse emotes. We got Cricket Eyed Bastard with a 20. Yeah, it says, "Yo, Ripper, this is a great live stream. Both of you and Az are amazing at what y'all do. I think Az would be a great non-binary villain." And Isom 3. What's the merch looking like for Yaira and Alpha Core? Well, obviously Alpha Core has some they're more season appropriate, let's just say that, with what it is that we're entering into the fall and then thus the winter. So we do have some cool merchandise items mixing it up. Instead of just giving y'all like just t-shirts, though those will be available. We're mixing it up and giving you some cold weather gear as well. So or mild temperature weather stuff. So
bath towels when?
Oh, okay. That's actually doable.
I think bath towels.
That's very doable. That's a very doable thing. Okay, yeah. See that.
They got used not just towel, but when the summer comes around, take it to the beach as well.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Fucking right. Scotty with a 5 says, "Not in any way a comic guy. Haven't bought a series since I was 10 until Eric brought out Isom. I do enjoy real comic guys chatting the subject though. Appreciate that, Scotty. Hey, I appreciate you.
I don't know anything about cars. Nothing whatsoever. Love watching car shows.
No.
Top Gear. Well, what used to be Top Gear when Jeremy Clarkson there, Grand Tour, all of it. But so you don't have to be versed in it to find interest in the subject.
100%. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, I watch streamers with games that I never play. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Star Wars Marvel Pierce says, "Ripper is the modern day Stan Lee McFarlane Image Revolution hybrid. Embrace the Iron Age and preserve memory and legacy of Stan Lee, George Lucas, etc." That's a month in the game. I appreciate that.
I think that's a fair comment.
Marvel Pierce, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Baptiste with a 5 says, "I think the SJWs infiltrated with false pretenses and lied their way into." Well, that's how infiltration usually works.
Yeah.
Into what they wanted. If they were honest at first, they would have been. Well, that's how it works. I mean, to be fair, that's the communistic kind of line of thinking. And by the way, let me pull this up because this guy just showed up. Shout out to professional gamer,
but greatest gamer I've ever
knows the shit when it comes to gaming. Gary from Neurotic.
They come into the industries though with their number one weapon, which is shame. That's what they did with the comic book industry. They came in with the comic book industry with shame. Where's the women? Where's the diversity? Where's this? So that's how they do it. They shame. They come in with shame on legitimately good people who are trying to put out good products.
Yeah.
And then because they're legitimately good people, they don't want to offend. So they're like, okay, so we can do a bit more, but then the hooks go in and that's it. It's all over.
You let in the time bomb. Or
you let the vampire in the door.
Yeah. So
and now they're gonna slaughter you.
That's how it works every fucking time. One Man Army Swamp Party with a 5 says the new Exorcist movie blows. Gonna watch the original one for the first time ever this Halloween. Okay.
The first one's great. I mean, it's great. The original is not the first one, but the original.
Gary also says he's feeling a little bit offended by all these people that doubt his gaming expertise here.
Don't worry about it, Gary. You got it. they're just jealous. Just jealous. That's all. They're just jealous.
That's true. Yes, and he will be here. Actually, same time tomorrow. Him and I are gonna be chatting it up. So y'all come holler at us there. We got Joseph with it too. Says, "How do you guys feel about DC's treatment towards Nightwing?" Well, like, I don't know if you asked. I will say when I was still reading, they kind of had him fucking in his own head, like on some like psychopathic shit. I didn't actually get to finish where they were kind of taking that shit. When I was still reading those, like what was he going by? What was somebody would probably correct me in the chat?
Rick Grayson.
Yeah, that shit. So yeah, it was
I ended up I couldn't read anymore. It was the doggest of dog shits. And then they started putting out gay covers. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So they just had him in all sort of lycra and bent over.
Yeah.
Just all this like real sort of homoerotica bullshit variant covers, because everyone's coded in comics.
Everybody's gay, and it's always been that. That's what they'll say.
I was going to say this earlier, Eric, but might as well say this now. You know the phrase, when everyone's special, nobody's special. In
True.
comics, when everyone's gay, nobody's gay, really.
That's true. I mean, it's like I say, it's
when nobody's gay, everyone's gay. Yeah, actually, it's probably more realistic for the comic industry. When nobody's gay,
eventually. I mean, look, it'll happen, and then they'll be able to justify it, just like again Max did with Connor and saying it's always been that way. It was always. I mean, he wore a jacket. He wore a jacket and had a buzz, so the side buzz. Of course, he was fucking
queer coded,
lesbian. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously, crying out loud. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Scotty says, unlike some, I wouldn't go on stream and pretend I was a comic book guy. Listening to you as Gary, Yellow Flash, as Gundam, it's excellent knowledge for normies with a 5. Well, I think to me that's what separates a lot of the real from the fake there. People that are in the know on shit versus people that are not in the know but want to be a part of the conversation. For me, I straight up tell you, I'll be like, hey, I don't know shit about something someone asked me, because I have a bit of humility about myself, and I'll tell you, like, if I don't fucking know, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, my lane is Bat Family, some Superman, some Green Arrow. Well, quite a bit of Green Arrow, admittedly. Bit of Green Lantern. But that's sort of like my strong wheelhouse. Yeah. Whenever people ask me about Marvel, I just say talk to Gary.
Yeah.
Gary's the guy for Marvel.
Yeah.
But it's knowing it's not just because just briefly. But just because you're into comics, folks, doesn't mean that you should feel obliged in any capacity to be into every comic.
Yeah, that's insane.
If you just have something that appeals to you, if you look at The Flash and think, oh, that looks cool, that's the comic I want to read, and that's the only comic I want to read, that's great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Don't feel as if because these conversations happen and get these people on the internet who basically read Wikipedia and think they know everything. You try and put, if you say like comics, that means you have to like everything. No, understand your wheelhouses. I understand my wheelhouse, predominantly DC, strong in Batman, strong in Green Arrow, and then Superman, pretty okay, and then the others, like I've just mentioned. But there's nothing wrong with that. No. Gary's owned a comic book shop. Gary's had fingers in all kinds of comic pies, DC, Marvel, all over the place. Gary, if he doesn't know something, he'll quite happily say, "Well, it's not." He's got great knowledge. So never feel pressured that I like something, ergo I must understand the full and everything of every. No.
Yeah, that's facts. Those are facts. Joseph with a 5 says, when do you think is the best time you'll begin opening submissions for other comic stories in the Riververse? Wishing a lot. Well, I don't know if that process will be like a big thing. I mean, we do have you're talking about stories, so you're talking more of a writer. I mean, we do have kind of opportunities for a lot of that stuff to happen organically, where we have like the fan art contest has been a big way that we've discovered a lot of talents, right? Within the company. So we are working for us in the future. So maybe those are opportunities that will come. I don't know. We can't like really just straight up take submissions for like ideas. This is why all companies, for the most part, say that, hey, it's legal bullshit. They'll say that we can't read. If you send a submission, we won't be, reading and acknowledge the legal bullshit. We can't really do that. So I don't think we'll ever be like opening like submission, just straight up submissions, but there will be opportunities to get on our radar. And I think that's what
is this Mags in disguise trying to do a pitch. You trying to do a pitch, Mags? Hey,
oh, Mags,
you got Connor Kent, you got Connor Kent, master plan.
Make Ice gay Dominican. And
he's always been queer coded to me.
He's always been gay, is what Mags would say. Fucking shit, man.
See, that masculinity that he exudes, you see, that's actually just hiding his clear latent homosexuality. Oh.
Yeah, makes sense.
Easy.
Fucking weirdos, man. Okay, all right. I think I got through all of those, man. We almost actually went 3 hours this go around. Holy shit. It goes quick. It goes fucking quick, man. Holy shit. Okay, so anything else you work? I know you just got that video out. Anything else like you're streaming? What else you got kind of on your radar?
Tomorrow, maybe, depending on how bad it is, I guess. Maybe there might be Robin in the Hood episode 3 review. So that might actually come out tomorrow, and it's not Loki tonight, for God's sake. No, Loki's Friday. So Loki review would be out Friday. I think Paul Chato's busy this week, so I might have to unfortunately deal this one on my own. And then Friday Night Tights on Friday, and the guest will be Comic Book Girl 19.
Oh, nice. Well, I appreciate you, man, stopping by. We'll do this.
Oh, it's been great to be on again. Thank you, man.
Man, whenever
I could talk this all day fucking every day.
Man, this is all day long. This is all day long, man. So whatever, man, we'll chat. I love to do it again sometime, man. I obviously appreciate you, man. Y'all follow HeelvsBabyface if you have not already on pretty much all forms of social media, but especially on YouTube, man. He's doing a lot of streaming, gaming stuff, all that good stuff. So be sure to follow him if you don't already. Again, tomorrow, guys, Gary from Neurotic was in the chat. He will be joining us, and we're going to shoot the shit, talk about what's going on in the media. It's long anticipated. It's been a while since we've had him here, so we figure we go ahead and chat, talk about everything, man. I'm excited for that tomorrow as well. But we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much. I got phone's been ringing off the fucking hook. So I know I got work that I need to attend to. People have been trying to contact me. I have calls to return. So, but yeah, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much. We will be seeing you tomorrow around the same time, 1:30 Central. We'll be again chatting with my man's Gary, Neurotic, man. So be on the lookout for that. But until next time, myself and Az, man, we're out of here. Peace out.
Bye.